The anticipation is building for the night of nights in the softball South Australia calendar. The Linda Martin Shield is in the building and will be awarded tonight to the winner of Seacombe and Walkerville in the Premier League Grand Final. My name's Eric Balnar. Welcome to the ballpark here on beautiful Ghana land. I'm so pleased to be joined by an all-around legend of the game, a two-time premiership winning coach, a former state player, and of course an Australian national selector, Danny Moffat. Danny, thanks for coming in here. You've been around some grand finals before. Players are warming up. There's a bit of nerves. There's a bit of excitement. Let's simplify this for me. What's the secret to grand final success from someone who's tasted that before?
Pitching and defense is what I look for in these types of games. So I think that'll be the crucial part, definitely.
Well, we're in luck because these are the two best pitching and defensive teams over the year. Seacombe, they've only allowed more than 2 runs on one occasion since November 16th. Meanwhile, Walkerville, they have the best and fairest. They have Taylor Cottle, who's been a superstar. It really is a dream matchup for pitching. So how do you break that? Is it, pressure?
It's going to be pressure with making contact with the bat. Any contact, ground balls, run it out, put the defense under pressure. A lot of them haven't had the chance to field the balls because, Caudle's been so dominant on the pitching mound. So that'll be the pressure moments.
Sounds like a thumb over a garden hose situation. There's going to be a bit of pressure. Who is going to break first? We cannot wait to find out who. We're moments away from the first pitch, but before the game, I had a chance to catch up with the Honourable Minister for Sport and Recreation in South Australia. Let's go to that. Well, the final preparations are being made on what could be the field of dreams here tonight. The Linda Martin Shield is in the building. One of Walkerville, one of Seacombe are going to lift that at the end of the night. And I told you we have some stars in attendance tonight. Well, we also have the Minister for Sport and Recreation, Emily Burke. Emily, you could have been anywhere in South Australia today. It's a big day for sport in South Australia. And here you are at the ballpark. Why did you decide to come out?
Well, I just came straight from the Sheffield Shield win, and that was an incredible experience to see a whole community captured by this incredible history-making moment. And it's really just no different out here today. Bit of a smaller version, but it means the same thing. Getting to a grand final is massive. It's a year of a long, hard slog to get here, lots of trainings, giving up your time to come out here and be in the grand final. Only 2 teams get to wear their uniforms at this time of year, and it's a really big thing to be able to achieve that win, to come out tonight and be a part of a grand final. So I'm so glad to be here, not just to see the girls out in the diamond, but to see the incredible opportunity it means for the people in the grandstands, because it's just as much of a win for them as it is for the girls out in the diamond.
You painted the picture before I had to, because when you walk in the ballpark tonight, you have a lot of different colors of uniforms of teams that aren't even playing in the grand final today. You see players and teammates supporting each other, whether they played state team or not. That's kind of the nice thing about sport, volunteers running the barbecue. It makes it special because that's what they're playing for today.
I think, softball does this great thing where you have the young ones play at the start of the day, have your seniors play at the end of the day, so the young ones can see what they want to be when they grow up, and the older ones are seeing what they were when they started. It is really that grassroots to elite, and it's an incredible thing to be a part of. So a big, massive thank you to everyone, because today doesn't happen without a lot of volunteers and a lot of people getting behind it, not just for today, but for the whole season. So a big thank you to everyone.
Emily Burke, we thank you so much for coming out and for your support of our great game of softball. We've got a great game coming up. Hey, we actually awarded a bunch of award winners this last Sunday night. We made a little video to thank and show you who won them all. So you want to say roll the tape?
Roll the tape.
It's amazing to see 170 people from the Adelaide competition here tonight, so congratulations for that. Thank you. The Umpire-in-Chief, for the last time, Steve Wallace-Yarrow, present the Softball Umpire Awards.
So starting off with the Rookie of the Year, Kiara Bickley to the stage, please. The Lyle Tyler Award, once again would like to call out Kevin Tannebring. And finally, Umpire of the Year Award, it goes to Damien McCauley.
Runner-up, under 12's most valuable player, Bodie Ansell, Aria Beasley, Dylan Carter, Isabel Williams. And finally, the most valuable player for under 12's, Miller Hull. Under 12 MVPs and MVP runners-up. Under 14, runner-up, most valuable player, Aria Beasley, Charlotte Winnett. And the under 14, most valuable player, Ben Williams. Your under 14, most valuable players. Under 16s, runner-up, most valuable player, Isabel Jackson, Amelia Domin. The under 16, most valuable player, Evelyn Hume. And joint winner is Kian Beasley. Your under 16 most valuable players. Under 18, MVP, runner-up, Kian Beasley, Lucy Weatherstone. The Margaret Lang Medal, Abby Bastian. The D grade best and fairest, it's the Mary Parslow Medal, and the winner, Angela Stevens, West Torrens. The Julie Dale Trophy winner for outstanding achievement, Lynette Callahan, Port Adelaide Softball Club. Sims Medal, C grade best and fairest, Kathy Pash, Kylie Weatherstone on 15 votes. And the winner of the Lorraine Meldrum Medal for B grade best and fairest, Ellie Smith. The winner of the best defensive player is Jess Maslin from Port Adelaide. The winner of the Lorraine Brown OEM medal for the best pitcher in the ASA is Taylor Caudle of Walkerville. The winner of the Mel McGee best batter is Brianna Marcelino from Port Adelaide. The winner of the Belinda White Rookie of the Year 2025 is Talia Sutton. 2025 Kath Corral Player of the Year is Taylor Caudle. Team of the Year for A grade, the Pitcher of the Year, Taylor Caudle. The reserve pitcher, Emily Price. Catcher, Jessica Golden. First base, Becky Havas. Second base, Sophie King. Shortstop, Brianna Marcelino. Third base, Lana Kaisler. Outfield, Maddie Cameron. Outfield, Reagan Diaz. The last of the outfield positions, Jessica Maslin. Utility player, Georgia King. Utility, Chelsea Robinson. The 2025 ASA Team of the Year.
Well, the teams are taking the field. The Linda Martin Shield is in the building, and there are only two teams who could possibly hoist the trophy. Welcome back inside the ballpark here at Diamond Sports South Australia on beautiful Ghana land. My name is Eric Balnar. I am joined by, I might need more hands to count the amount of premierships across the board at various levels that are at this table with me, and I've contributed exactly 0 of them. Well, you heard from her to start the broadcast, Australian selector, two-time premiership winning coach, state player, Danny Moffat. Danny, the buzz now has just been elevated a little bit. What's that like as a player and coach when your names are being run out? Because this isn't a normal setup to a normal Premier League game right now.
It's definitely when the nerves start to really settle in, but you got to enjoy it as well. You know, you got a big smile when you're out there. To make a grand final is hard. It's a lot of games to get here, and these two teams thoroughly deserve, on the back of their pitching efforts, to be here tonight.
I'm going to put you on the spot in a minute and give you a quality that you're looking for in a player. And I'm going to ask Weathers the same question here, too. You're an Australian selector, so it's all about choosing players and looking at players that perform in these one-off big games. What kind of qualities from a coaching standpoint from both of you do you look for in a championship, premiership player when it comes to a softball game?
Hi, Eric. Hi, Danny. And it's great to be here. Look, you're looking for just the basics, to be honest. Somebody that can just stay cool when the heat's on. One thing I was super proud of watching Becky Havas do on Wednesday night, opportunity presented itself. You know, the big import player went through before and it got left to Becky to do, and she stayed cool and she got the job done. Didn't overdo it, just did exactly what she needed to. And yeah, that's half the battle, is being able to stay cool when the pressure's on.
I think you're right. You got to trust the pre-season and all the games in between that, and want to be the one that makes the difference in a game. You know, it might come from a 7, 8, 9 hitter. It might not come from 1, 2, 3 hitter. It might not come from a pitcher. So that type of stuff is just doing the basics. Trust your glove, trust your bats, trust your coaches, and just enjoy it. Big smile on your faces.
We've got 2 great grand finalists this year. They were 1-2 in the regular season. Walkerville and Seacombe, they were actually separated by exactly 0 points. It was a 3-way tie. In fact, at 32 points in the minor rounds, Walkerville got through on runs allowed, but not by much. Seacombe weren't trailing much before. Danny, you and I talked about it at the top of the broadcast. You brought up the point. This is the best defensive team and the best pitching team versus the second best defensive team and the second best pitching teams. I guess it is true what they say. Defense wins championships, because that's going to be true for whoever wins this game.
Absolutely. 3-4 were the best hitting teams this year, but and what it's going to take now is to do those one things right. Make some contact, get the ball on the ground, and force out those errors.
How great is it that we have the Minister for Sport and Recreation on field right now? You heard from her in the pregame. Coming out, this is a huge day for South Australian sport. The Sheffield Shield was won in this state for the first time, and still she's taken the time to come down here and attend and be part of the grand final action at this wonderful softball community we have.
Very important, and we genuinely appreciate her attendance. So it's definitely great to have it, and great to see the teams as they are, and cool. Really excited about tonight.
That's the Minister, Emily Burke. She's the Shield Whisperer. She took over as the Minister for Sport and Recreation a little bit before Christmas, and a little bit after Christmas, the Stars won a national championship for South Australia. A few months later, for the first time in 3 decades, the Sheffield Shield was won by South Australia. And now, for the first time in almost a decade for both of these teams, somebody's going to break a drought today, too. She's the Shield Whisperer.
I wonder what area she lives in. That may give us an insight. She lives in the Walkies or the Seacombe region.
That's a good point.
That could be the Whisperer right there.
Somebody do some dirt watching on the comments right now.
Let us know where the Minister lives.
Well, a welcome to country being played right now. We do play on Ghana land, and the First Nations round was great this year as well, seeing the community happen and get around that as well. Important to acknowledge where we play, but these 2 teams, first place Walkerville, second place Seacombe, not separated by much. Whether both these teams missed the finals last year, and this year, off of the backs of great pitching and defense, they found themselves in this position. For you, what is it that these 2 teams have gone from out to one of them's winning it all? Yeah,
well, great question. You look at, they finished 5th and 6th last year, and they've gone 1 and 2 this year. Obviously, the biggest change in both teams is the imports. They've had 3 new imports in each team. Walkerville's significantly changed their demographic with, Taylor Cordell just being an outstanding player and changing the way that their defence works. But the important thing about the Cats, they've still got Robinson, still got King. They've still got a bunch of players that have been the core of that team. Seacombe.
We'll pause for the national anthem. Well, if you could hear the roar of the crowd, you can kind of tell what this means to both of these clubs. It has been almost 10 years, 8 years since Walkerville won their last premiership. It has been 12 years since Seacombe won their last premiership. Someone is breaking that drought tonight. We'll get a look at the lineups in a second and give you take a look at what's kind of made these teams. Just so you do know, the home team in this game is Walkerville because they met in a 1-2 game and a chance to book your ticket early to the grand final effectively. Walkerville won that game 6-1. What's amazing about that one for me is we've been talking pitching and defense. You'll hear that word again. Seacombe hadn't allowed more than 2 runs in a game since November 16th, but 1 week ago, Walkerville put up a 6 spot against them. As a player, that's got to make you feel pretty confident going into this game.
Absolutely, I think it does. And then, Seacombe didn't get a massive jump on Port either on Wednesday night. So, scoring runs has slowed down a little bit for the Tigers. So.
Well, let's take a look at the lineups of the teams. This is how they line up in the field, the number 1 rated defense. But you made a great point. First we'll start with Chelsea Robinson, Australian national team player. Bailey Lux, she's an import catcher. And Sophie King, she's a 3-time premiership player and a former Stars player in the middle. But you made the point. Their defense is great. Lots of the times because Taylor Cottle, she strikes so many people out, the defense doesn't have to make a whole lot of plays.
That's exactly right, and I think that'll be, Seacombe's goal is to, make the infielders play some balls. It does show that, you get the ball on the ground, bit of pressure, little fumble, and that's all it takes.
Put the ball in play and good things seem to happen. This is Taylor Cottle. You see the word Kath Coral on the screen. That's your word for best and fairest in this competition. She's also the Laurie Brown Pitcher of the Year. She struck out 223 batters in the regular season. You add 11 to that she had in the game to get into the grand final. We're sitting at a historic pace right now. It's 234 strikeouts right now.
So I believe it's 11 that she needs. Is that the count?
245 is the number she's chasing for the record.
Yeah, and gettable. Even in a grand final, she's that good. But you would suggest that the Tigers will have a plan to do what they can.
Lineup changes here. Bree Lint moves from number 2 in the lineup to 7 in the lineup. Annalie Dolman. She's got ice in her veins. I think she was born clutch with that gene, whatever that means. She moves up to number 2. But the real damage is that middle of the lineup with Neely Peterson, the star import catcher, and Becky Havis, who had 2 hits, 2 RBIs, including a walk-off to get them there, a 3-time player of the year. Yeah,
Becky Havis, by her own testimony, didn't start the year great and has just built throughout the regular season and got better. Neely Peterson is genuine box office. When she steps to the plate, there's just a feeling that something's about to happen and the ball's about to leave the park. So interesting changes. Good to see Tompkinson get her defensive lineup position because she was clutch for them on Wednesday night.
I like that handshake between the teams before the games. The stage is set. We started playing softball on the first week of October, going back almost 6 months. There is 1 game to play across all grades in the competition. It's the most important one. The Linda Martin Shield will be awarded tonight. Let's play ball. Taylor Cottle set all kinds of records at Boise State before heading over to South Australia to play in this competition, and she's been one of the best import pitchers we've seen, and we've seen a lot of good ones in this time. But her first challenge is Regan Diaz, who's coming off a national championship with the ASA Stars, and you can see the stat line on your screen in the preliminary final. How's 2 for 2, 2 walks, 2 triples when the games mattered on the line? Another clutch player in Seacombe.
Oh, I'd take that, yes please, any day.
5 strikeouts before she moved into second base, and then she was dynamic in the field too.
You'll see her start the game as well in Regan Diaz, and she's going to jab one towards right field. Aaron Stone was playing deep, and it's a leadoff hit for Regan Diaz. And Danny Moffat, you said, put the ball in play. There we go.
1 for 1 for me, and that's it. And, Regan's, a couple of triples lead off, and that's the thing. The outfield had to be deep, keep the ball in front of you in this situation. Keep a single or a double. Don't let her go that triple.
Yeah, she's got some wheels. She's stolen 5 bases, but really a dynamic hitter, right? 8 extra base hits, 349 average, 5 stolen bases. She can do some damage, Regan Diaz, on the base pass. Here's Annalie Dolman. only played in 4 games in this season, but this Tigers team just 4 seasons ago didn't have a team in the Premier League. They took a season off. They only entered a B-grade team. When they came back, Dolman was a big part of that. She coached this team for a couple of seasons, so a lot of the foundations have been set by this woman in the box right now.
Signal of intent just there. I mean, you've got a very speedy runner and a good catcher behind the plate. And Bill's coach Benedictson's put the short game away early and basically throwing the trust into his hitters from the outset.
2 strikes on Dolman. Pops one straight up in the air. That might be the second strike now.
Yeah, that's out.
Oh, that was out. That was 2 strikes.
Yeah, that's what I was meaning. I
was surprised that she laid down the showed bunt with 2 strikes.
Took the first one and then, had a cut at the second one. So that was a bit of intent there.
Does that go down in the book as a strikeout?
Bunt third strike.
Third strike.
Does it count as a strikeout?
No.
Good question.
To her name?
I don't think so
either.
Yeah.
Definitely surprised me with first inning, runner on 1, bunting so crucial.
Peterson and Havas to follow.
100%, get a runner to 2.
Neely Peterson, another national champion with the Stars. She caught every inning of the Stars national championship campaign. She was on the broadcast a couple weeks ago, said she couldn't walk for a few days. Her knees had just given out. She wanted it, by the way. She wasn't complaining, but shows the rigors of catching Danny Moffat.
Especially over there in Melbourne. It was hot, it was wet, it was windy, it was delayed. It was a long week for the girls.
Swings at a pitch, pops it straight up in the air, over towards short. There's Chelsea Robinson. She makes the play and weathers. That is a big scalp to get.
Yeah. You can start to see some signs, though. Caudle in last week's game threw inside heavy on the hands. They challenged her hands, forcing her to try and catch up and speed up on that. They've shown the same play yet again.
Becky Havas. I mentioned earlier that Seacombe didn't have a team 4 years ago, and pretty much their whole A-grade side dispersed and went to different clubs. One player decided to stay, and she ended up playing B-grade that year. She won the best and fairest, but she did not leave the Tigers. She stayed with the club. She stayed with them when they were bottom of the table, stayed with them when they missed the finals, and she was the one that delivered the game-tying hit and game-winning hit in the preliminary final to send the team she stuck with to the grand final. Now she'll knock one to the right side, but Sophie King sticks out the leather and makes a nice play. Danny Moffat, defense.
Defense right there, and I think you're right. Taylor is sticking to that inside. I think that's their game plan tonight, to use the pace of the ball to make these jam plays, jammed up to second base.
Second base team of the year, Sophie King. She had an outstanding year, and that's the difference in finals. You see some great stuff there. So,
well, here's a look at the defense for the Seacombe Tigers. They had the second best fielding percentage in the competition. They weren't down by much. A big difference in that you'll see is Neely Peterson, who is catching. But there are some younger players experiencing this kind of game for the first time. But Georgia Tompkinson took a huge catch in the preliminary final. Sasha Mutzi made a really nice play up the middle. Abby Mossman at third had to step up. And Becky Havas is a 3-time player of the year at first base. Talked to Bill Benedictson after the game, and he said he loved that every player in the field had to make a contribution at some point.
Well, Seacombe cheat, basically, when you look at their defence, because you've got Diaz, who's pitching and basically becomes a fifth fielder. She's so dynamic in her range. She effectively removes the short game because she's just so fast. And then you've got Peterson, who's box office, who just throws rockets from behind the plate, and teams are scared to run on them. That's the MO on Seacombe, was that you could push that game against them. Now they've just removed that ability. And so Walkerville tonight, against 2 very good pitchers, are going to have to find the pitch and the count and get the job done. Not necessarily the old-fashioned way. They're going to have to bat the ball.
This is a difference between their matchup 1 week ago. Regan Diaz getting the start over Whitney Shepherd. You will see Whitney Shepherd in this game. That is a guarantee. But Diaz is opening this game, we can call it, against a lineup that put up 6 versus the Seacombe Tigers 1 week ago, and the top of the lineup feasted. Bailey Lux, who's walking up to the plate, she was the player of the game. Sophie King had a hit. Chelsea Robinson had 3 RBIs. Ellie Smith and Sophie Roberts all had RBIs. This top of the lineup isn't fun to face.
1 to 5 there is a pretty impressive batting averages right there. And yeah.
Well, Bailey Lux was 2 for 2 and had an RBI, a triple, and scored 2 runs in that game.
She's lasted a pitch longer than she did in her first at-bat in the qualifying final last week when she hit the first pitch to the fence on a bounce for a triple. More watchful.
Danny, to build on Weather's point, you've coached against the Seacombe Tigers before, and Regan Diaz, when Port Adelaide played Seacombe last game on Wednesday in the prelim, I talked to their head coach, Ben Lucas, and he said, God, Regan's in the circle. It's like having another pivot is the word he used to describe it.
I totally agree, especially on the bunt play. That gives you the opportunity to keep your natural first base back on first base as a receiver on a bunt play, because Regan will come across and grab that. Mossman at third base is, eating up that left side of the field. So she's a pivot, and she's a pitcher that can pivot, and pivot that can pitch.
One of those players that you love to have on your team, but don't necessarily love to face. Flared over towards second. And there's Annalie Dolman. Is that a tough play to make when that's looping over the shoulder?
Yeah. You got your right fielder coming in, your second base doubling back, and ultimately you're waiting to hear if the right fielder or outfielder is going to overcall you.
Well, it's a night game, which is also doesn't help, and of course you're going from dirt to grass, which is the big change. And I'd love to suggest that it's 100% flat out there. It's not. So good job to her for keeping her feet.
Well, Sophie King, what a difference having her in the lineup every game makes. Last year, you could call it a part-time player because she is a paramedic, and that took away a lot of time. But being able to play the full season, she's back up to her normal tricks. 478. And Weathers, when you won 5 straight premierships as a coach, it could have been 6, but...
it would have been 6 in a row. The first one was with Walkerville. It was my second one with Sturt. We played Walkerville, so that was my 7th grand final. Yeah.
Sophie King?
Cost me. Yeah. Came into work not there long after, wanting to get some stuff on the cheap, so I looked after her even then. So, but no, she's a great player and just as great a person.
Knocks one towards the right side. When Walkerville won back-to-back, going back almost a decade, she was the player of the grand final for a clutch hit she had. She's played on the Stars. I mean, Sophie King, it's crazy to say, but literally for 2 decades, and she's not that old, has been getting it done in grand finals for her club.
She's her own worst enemy, though. Judges herself way too harshly. She's should really be enjoying everything that she does because she works so hard. And, she's as I said, she's great. And she's one of the reasons why the Cats you saw in that first innings making a big play under pressure, no problems.
Full count to Sophie King. Up the middle, and there you go. That pivot, Regan Diaz.
Glove work. Follow through, still got to get that glove down on the other side of the body, and that's just visual straight off the bat. She knew exactly where it was, got the footwork down.
Yeah, probably was harsh by me to say that they cheat. What I was trying to say is that they've got effectively 5 fielders in their infield, so I'm not suggesting that other pitchers don't field, but it's her range and her speed that changes the way that you have to play against them.
Chelsea Robinson, one of the best players that South Australia has seen over the last couple decades as well. She's named a Aussie Spirit squad. She's won grand finals. She's won a national championship and really a big leader of this team. She became a mom last year, so she missed the bulk of the season, but getting Chelsea Robinson was back because you can see her numbers at the bottom of your screen in that first final to help get them there. 3 RBIs.
That's the type of player that she is. And
well, I mean, arguably, when the club retires one of the greatest softballers the state's ever seen, and they put the 8 behind glass at the club, never to come back again, and then they bring it out for this player, probably holds testimony to how good she is.
Agree, Weathers, and I was trying to say that. I was trying to say, the great Linda Martin, you and I are on the same
Yeah, so I was
page.
picking exactly what you were saying. You're trying to make me look good, and I appreciate that.
100%.
Thank you for giving me that.
Very Linda Martin-esque up there at shortstop.
That's the name of the shield of this competition if you want to get some magnitude to Linda Martin's stature in this community.
And it's good to see her out there in the assistant coach box, although she's not in it. No coaches stand in the boxes anymore.
She's gone rogue already.
But that's Linda Martin. She doesn't say too much, but when Linda speaks, she's got your attention. Everyone's attention.
Straight up. Linda Martin trying to win her own shield today.
That's actually true.
We haven't, and I'll let you in on some inside news. We haven't actually figured out the procedure of what happens when it comes time.
She presents it to us
Walkerville
from the left hand to the right.
You would have thought we would have done some prep work for that.
Or it's kind of an awkward one both ways because of Seacombe when it feels a bit strange as well on both sides.
Yeah. What's worse? I'm
not sure. Well, I think
giving it out.
I think we'll let her do the shield, but we might find somebody else to take the bullet for the medals. I think that might be a bit rough. So
there's a big at bat from Chelsea Robinson. That's the first base runner of the game for Walkerville. And Ellie Smith, college player out of Colorado Mesa and NCAA 2, hit .447 in 16 games this year with 8 extra base hits. Impressive for me, though, 17 RBIs leading the team, and she's only played 16 games of 24.
Yeah, B-grade medalist, led Walkerville to the minor premiership, unfortunately, before they got knocked out in the finals, but she's been a huge part of that rise of the B grade, and she's been great support for Taylor as well, but locks down third and can hit a long ball.
2 outs, runner on. How many times have we seen the big moment in these grand finals over the years come with 2 outs on the board?
A lot.
A lot. That's where you go. They're 2 out, but it's always hard to get that third out. I think sometimes the third out is the hardest out.
Yep.
And, a play like this where we're talking about our RBIs, you got to have her.
There's Neely Peterson trying to keep the runner in check.
Have her in the right spot in the lineup as well. You got your 1, 2, 3s that have a very high on-base average, and then you bring in your leading RBI hitter.
Yeah, that works.
It works, and she probably relishes. There's some players that relish and hit better with runners on, especially hit and run type situations, speed on one.
So I was going to say maybe a couple of pitches ago, and I'm not. Oh, what are we doing? There's some nerves out there.
Yeah.
I was just about to say. So we've had a person walk up on 3 balls.
Good try.
You need 4 in softball, just to clarify. The rules haven't changed.
But I've noticed something about
not for final.
I've noticed something about Reagan, but I'll bring it up after this pitch because I've got a sense that something's about to happen.
3 balls and a strike on Ellie Smith. She's played some softball in France as well. Now she's in Australia. Full count. Keep in mind.
What'd you go to with us? What's your thought?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how to explain it in a paragraph or less. It's weird. Just give me a sec.
Keep an eye on Chelsea Robinson at first. She can fly around the bases. And this is going to be jammed over. It might split the gap, and it will. Chelsea Robinson is taking a hard turnaround 3. She's hustling for home, and Ellie Smith has cashed in the first run of the game. Oh, you could sense something was about to happen, and Ellie Smith went bang.
Inside out. Lana Kaisler's corner over there behind the runner, and Chelsea Robinson was always going to score from there. And that is going to do wonders for some of the young cats and their nerves, and creates that seed of doubt the other way, even early.
I think even the look on Ellie's face on second was a sign of relief. You got that one, and let's keep going. I'm the leading RBI hitter for the thing, and that's what I'm here for. Get that runner around. Get her home.
Sophie Roberts up to bat now, another player that's performed big in grand finals before.
Well, sorry, I was just about to say, Port Adelaide, 9 base runners in the prelim final on Wednesday night, Seacombe 2. And so when those opportunities present, you must make them count when you're a role player that's supposed to deliver that. And that, exactly as Eric was saying before, hasn't played the full season in A grade, still leads their RBI tally, which is amazing. The question mark, of course, is that Mason, he dropped down to a 17-year-old with not much experience, especially at this level of finals. She's the second RBI counter in that team. So that's a lot to ask of a young kid. So a player like Ellie Smith has to be able to do that, and to be able to do that in the first, huge. Sorry, Eric.
Still a runner in scoring position for Sophie Roberts. South Australian who's played some softball in Italy, played on state teams, and played at a very high level, Sophie Roberts. Had a hit and an RBI in that qualification final in the semifinal on Saturday night. Just misses outside. That play was also good because it made all of us look good, so we can just jump off the mics. You have Danny Moffat saying some players are just built for driving in runs. Eric Balnar, me saying Chelsea Robinson can fly, and Weather saying I think something's going to happen, and then all of those things happened at once. But a big strikeout from Regan Diaz ends the threat, but 2 outs. A walk from Chelsea Robinson and an RBI double from Ellie Smith has the Walkerville Cats up early 1-0.
Stats say that winning games happens in the 1, 2, 3 innings. And you come out in a grand final, get an inning, first inning, get a run, momentum comes into the pitching circle then, and then you start again. They're Seacombe behind already. They got to start chipping away.
So the one thing I've noticed so far in the 2 pitches is that Caudle's come out exactly as she came out last week, throwing genuine rockets. There's nothing being held back. She is attacking the batters straight away. The first inning of Reagan's game, and if you go back to the game Wednesday night, and I don't know, I haven't got the speed gun. It was charged, but I don't know where it is at the moment. I reckon there's either Reagan's there just feeling the heat, as in the pressure, because I felt like she was about maybe 4 or 5 Ks slower than she normally was. There was no snap in Peterson's glove, and Peterson, when she catches the ball, she hits that pocket, you hear it click. It wasn't clicking in the first inning, so I just wonder whether or not that's a nerve thing for Reagan or it's a speed thing where they're just building into the game and they're just trying to make the distance.
How much pressure does Taylor Caudle, just being Taylor Caudle, who literally has an ERA of less than 0.99, and if you're just joining us, that basically means she allows less than 1 run per game. Well, Walkerville have already scored 1 run per game. Statistically, that's enough. She struck out over 200 batters in 100 innings. I'm sure as a player on the other circle, you feel pressure to match knowing what could be coming from Taylor Caudle too.
I think the Tigers know that, a 1-0, if they were at 1-0, I don't think would win. You got to score a few more with the hitting lineup of the Cats as well.
Yeah, we've said that the Tigers all season, well, that second half of the season when they sort of really kicked on, none of the games that they were sort of dominating teams, but they would always be in it and then just sort of come over at the end. And that's what good pitching depth gives you. It keeps you in the game longer.
Seacombe were down 1-0. They allowed the first base runner to score on Wednesday night to Port Adelaide. They were under pressure early in that game. Seacombe had to absorb a bases-loaded 1-out situation. There's runners in scoring position in every inning before Seacombe tied it in the 4th, held their nerve late, and then won it in extra innings to qualify for this grand final versus Walkerville. At this point in the ball game last Saturday when Walkerville and Seacombe played in the qualifying final, Walkerville were already up 3-0. So Seacombe are ahead in that standpoint. They are the scrappy Tigers. They do not go down easy.
Yeah, you're going to give them a couple of innings of nerves, which unfortunately you can't in a grand final. But, I mean, the longer this game goes on, the more comfortable they'll start to get into it. And you just sort of hope that gives them enough time to act and actually give themselves the best possible chance.
Abby Mossman chipped in a few RBIs this season. Seems to have got better as the season's gone on, Abby Mossman has. while it is her first softball grand final in A grade, she has played in them in baseball before. So it's not like there are some comparables there in terms of the environment, the nerves, and what that goes into it as well, and that whole three-strike approach.
Yeah, she's been consistent for them all season, and I mean, nobody wants to field in third base at any level, you know, especially off of fast pitching, and to be able to do both of those jobs really well for the Tigers is a testimony to her.
She made a big play in the preliminary final after a tough first inning. She really settled her nerves and made a huge trap at third that seemed to just settle down Seacombe defensively from that moment onwards. And she's taken the best pitcher, the best player of the season in Taylor Cottle to a full count. Swing and a miss. There's strikeout number 1 for Taylor Cottle. That is strikeout number 335 on the season if you include the finals.
Just notice a big sigh there just before she let that pitch go. I mean, you would suggest on the Tigers blackboard, you know, making sure that 6, 7, 8 are a contest and that Cordell doesn't get her way with the bottom order and just save herself for the top. So
Sasha Mutzi. She had 2 hits versus Taylor Cottle in the first final.
Yeah.
She's had 3 hits in the finals overall. You see those numbers. Spacequake Sports producer Brandon stepping up for us and providing us some awesome numbers. But now we've got what's going on here? Is it a change in glove?
Taylor's broken the catcher's glove.
Has Taylor broken a glove? You said she was throwing genuine Rockets, Weathers?
Yeah. Well,
I thought you meant that in a metaphorical sense.
No. You can sense... yeah, you can just hear the snap in the even, and you know, as I said, when Peterson catches Diaz traditionally, there's that snap, and I haven't heard that yet tonight. So I just wonder if that's Reagan just being cautious, or she's taken a couple of Ks off to maintain some control. But she does most of her damage like she did against Port when she just lets it go.
Oh no, I think she caught it. She was picking up a bug, I think.
Oh.
You could see on the replay.
Okay.
She was scooping up a bug. You could see it at the end of that replay. I don't know if we still have it. At the very end, she had the glove down. She scooped something up, handed it off to the coaches, and then they released it out there. How about that?
That is brave from a foreigner. She would not even know what that bug was, probably.
Everything in Australia wants to kill you.
Exactly right. That's what that just melts my heart.
Yeah,
right
look,
there.
she's picking up something on the ground. She scooped it in her glove. That is incredible.
I'm going to ask Damien McCauley after, in all of his time in umpiring, has he seen
What's
that done?
in the glove? Is it
I've never seen that.
Cricket? Spider?
Oh my.
There, showing it.
There you go, coach. Do the right thing.
Bindy's like, well, that'll kill you.
She was picking up in the middle of a grand final.
That's a first for SA softball. It has to be in any grade. That's
Cordell just threw its first genuine change-up for the night too, and Mutzi swung over it.
That might be the sportsmanship. Is there a sportsmanship award for
there
the grand final?
There will be now.
Yeah, we'll have one, sure.
Sasha Mutzi will officially start her at bat, and she fouls one away.
So this is the challenge. Like, if you're Coach Stansfield and Coach Martin, you want Cordell to just blow the bottom half of the lineup away, save the pitch count, and focus on making sure that your efforts into Diaz and Peterson and Havas is where you can save most of your work. But Mutzi, as she's done all finals, she's becoming a very tough out.
Danny, I liked how you phrased it earlier when you kind of were basically saying you got to keep things simple in final softball. That's what Sasha Mutzi did in that first final when she got 2 hits off Cottle. She wasn't swinging for the fences. She sort of guided the bat to the ball and put it in play.
Make contact with strong hands. You know, that's going to get line drives or, you know, hard ground balls. And I think the Mossman, the batter before, took it a full count. I think that might have been the first one. Make her throw pitches, I think, is the big key is here as well.
But there you go. She's had to burn a curve on the outside hard to retire a batter like that. And then you get Lint, who's probably got the best eye for a zone in the Tigers, now coming in at 7. So this is good by the Tigers. They're making it harder the longer it goes, so that there is no easy path through the lineup, which there isn't in a grand final anyway.
So you can call those kind of positive strikeouts. You go deep into counts, you make her throw 11 pitches the last 2 batters. Yeah,
but it's also just mental. It's the fact that, I've just won Player of the Year, I've won Pitcher of the Year, I'm all of these great things, and I'm a great player, I know that before that, and I'm struggling to get through 7 and 8, and I've got to save myself because I've got DS due on deck shortly, and I've got to make something of it. That stuff can mess with your head.
This was a lineup switch from Coach Bill Benedictson of the Seacombe Tigers. Bri Lint, who led the competition in walks, she was batting 2 all year. She now goes to 7, and Whitney Shepherd, who's hitting .323, is behind her. All of a sudden, this is a mini danger spot for the Tigers in the bottom of the lineup. And if this part of the lineup gets rolling, that's where the magic happens. You saw that in the grand final last year with West Torrens, where felt like everybody in the lineup was getting on base and getting a hit, and that just kind of compiles on the opponent quickly.
Absolutely. Speaking of West Torrens, that got how we got through a few of the last games were our 6, 7, 8, 9 batters.
Now Bri Lint goes pop down the left field side, but Sophie Roberts can't handle it. It's going to be a free base, and it's a runner in scoring position. The first mistake of the ball game, and Bri Lint will stand up on 2. Here's a look at the Sporties replay.
So you're taught in juniors, when the ball gets hit off the bat, the first thing that you do is hold your position to see where the flight of the ball's going to go. And unfortunately, we just overran that. And that's the danger when you're an infielder and a catcher and you end up playing outfield in the finals, because they can't leave you out for your hitting. So
you saw on the replay the Seacombe Tigers dugout up and about when they saw that ball hit the grass. And now Whitney Shepherd, who hit .323 this year, you'll see her pitch almost certainly later in the game today. Now she has a chance to try to tie this game. Walkerville did it with 2 outs on the board to score the first run in the first inning. Now Seacombe trying to apply some pressure. And it comes from a player who was a star in the NAIA in college softball with Reinhardt out of Georgia.
Already won a premiership today as well.
And a swing and a miss. So through all of that, Taylor Caudle under a little bit of pressure, some long at-bats, a runner standing at 2, but still Taylor Caudle, the player of the year in this competition, strikes out the side.
Just comes on the inside again, just trying to get the jam there on the batters. And, runner on there for the Tigers, wouldn't be able to move around.
We'll head to the bottom of the second. Walkerville with a 1-0 lead. This is the grand final, and so often we've seen these grand finals be decided either in extras or by 1 run. This is my 9th season of doing this, and there's only been 2 occasions where grand finals haven't really been close. I remember Sturt, but it was even a close game there. Hills had a lead over Sturt. Sturt came back. They won by multiple runs. And last year was a rare run rule win for West Torrens. Most of the time, my point is these games are decided by these 1 or 2 little moments. Maybe a dropped catch in the outfield, maybe a play at the plate, maybe by a big out when you needed it the most. So keep your eye on that throughout the game. 6, 7, 8 in the lineup for Walkerville. It'll be Haley Mayer, Georgia Mason, and Steph Gall. Haley Mayer has kind of broken through as a regular player from the left side this year with the Cats.
Yeah, I mean, she's a genuine star regardless. I mean, she's been a long-time player, obviously more involved out at the CDSA. She used to be part of the Torrens Valley Red Sox when they were here before going to Sturt, and is a dangerous left-handed pitcher in her own right. But the thing that sets her apart from players is the fact that she's just a great athlete. She's super fast, super strong, and she can do both. She can do all of that stuff. really well. Sorry, just Mum and Dad just checking in, so that's good to see. Hi, Mum and Dad. I hope you're enjoying the coverage. So yeah, she's a genuine threat. Can do it all. She can hit long. Don't worry about that. And considering the depth that the pivots here are showing her, throughout the entire at bat, Mossman hasn't probably moved, and neither's Havis. Havis is maybe a little bit more in. Mutzi's a little bit more up, but other than that, they're just treating her as normal.
Swing and a miss. Regan Diaz gets her second strikeout of the afternoon, his second strikeout in a row, and an important first out, although Walkerville did score their 2 runs on a little 2-out rally. Look at the Sporties replay. The ball just rising. Georgia Mason has been one of the feel-good stories of the year. She was a finalist for the Defensive Player of the Year this year and hit .263, providing some pop at the bottom of the lineup, but a very young player still, Georgia Mason.
Yeah, and obviously somebody that first base that doesn't need to take fly ball catches with a glove is a good skill to have. Had a really good state under 18s tournament under Linda and Karen Dale, the Walkerville legend.
Now she's got pop towards left field. Bree Lint will move under it, but a positive sign from the 17-year-old with some flair to the left field side.
Yeah, that's going to feel good. Bat on ball. That's the important thing there. That first swing, she was well out, shoulder opened early, and she missed the ball by a fair way. But second pitch, she's closed it down and just used the pace of Diaz. So, yeah, keep it simple. Don't need to do anything special. You just need to be able to execute when it matters. So,
Steph Gall.
Played mostly left field this season for the Cats, and was a vote getter in the B grade medal for Walkerville.
Knocks one over towards the right side. It's scooped up by Annalie Dolman, and a real settling inning from Regan Diaz and the Seacombe Tigers defense. A 1-2-3 situation.
Yeah, definitely what Seacombe Tigers would definitely need. You know, a couple of aggressive swings there from Mason and stuff, and you know, hopefully come out now and get some runs themselves. Just make some contact.
You're going to get your first genuine look at the second time through in the lineup.
What can you learn from facing a pitcher for one time through the lineup? You hear that so often on these broadcasts, right? Second time through, third time through. You'll hear that today. We're probably going to see a pitching change from Seacombe when Walkerville go through the third time. What do you learn when you're a player going against a pitcher for a second time or third time through the lineup?
Oh, Danny'd be better to answer that than me. She's an ex-superstar.
From me, probably nothing. But I think you're looking for the timing of the ball and stuff like that, and probably more the timing. You know, I'm a first pitch hitter, so I don't usually hang around long, to be honest. So, or first strike hitter. But I think as you go in your second one, you're a bit nervous the first time at bat. You might swing out early. So this time you might be, Coach Stansfield might say, let's take a few more pitches and make her throw some. Let's get her out of the game. Let's get their replacement, Whitney Shepherd, in and see what happens. But, I think we're coming through to the top of the lineup here for Seacombe. So they were really pushing to get their lead off on. And then, Reagan up to hit. Another triple would be nice.
Timing is one thing for 100%. The other thing for me would just be that release point, just that height, just so you've got a target as a batter that you can start to expect that's where it's coming from, and then you can start to track the spin.
Georgia Tompkinson had a catch and a hit in that last final to get them there. I
think also you probably, if they got you on a strikeout, they're probably going to go same again. So just from that mental awareness that, if they got you on a changeup, you're more than likely going to get another changeup or an inside pitch or an outside pitch.
I always love watching the catcher, seeing what information they've gathered with more data at their disposal going through the lineup.
Well, your interview with Becky Havis on Wednesday night afterwards, she talked about the fact that she knew that Engler was going to challenge her low, and that's what she looked for. And so she was searching the count for a pitch. So You know, the elite batters, that's the difference.
Georgia Tompkinson goes down on strikes. It is the 4th strikeout for Taylor Cottle, the 4th in a row, or the 4th out in a row, going down by the K. And her significant total on the softball season keeps increasing.
I don't think Diaz is going to hang around here. I think she's already had her look. She's going to want to impact this game. Both the corners are deep. So
School of Danny Moffat, you're saying.
Could be short.
First pitch swing, and it drops into the glove of Taylor Cottle, but both of you,
half right.
You know.
Yeah, jams her there. She couldn't get the hands out quick enough on the inside pitch, and I think that was, you know, very good pitching by Taylor and good catching by.
Having to do it herself brings up Annalie Dahlman, who was standing on first. Oh no, she was out. It was Regan Diaz that was standing on first that last. She was out on a 3rd strike on a bunt attempt for Annalie Dahlman, showing the sort of creativity as a coach I think that you sometimes need to have going against the likes of Taylor Cottle. It's not as easy as just swing and hit it when you're facing her.
No, and I actually haven't seen not 2 strike adjustments, but a slap play or choking up or split the hands a little bit just to make some contact. We might start seeing that next time around from the Tigers.
Dahlman, while she might have only played a handful of games for the softball, you know, obviously she's also tied up in women's baseball, so it's not like she's 18 months removed from this game. So there's a reason why they've brought her in. So, and that's obviously her quality.
She's got a bit of magic about her too. Remember one of her first games back, maybe it was her first.
It was.
And now she's going to go pop towards center field, but that wind is starting to hold things up off the bat as Haley Mayer makes the play, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Taylor Cottle. The first inning that Seacombe don't have a base runner it's now a run of 6 players combined on each team that haven't got on base.
That's not a bad thing, seeing that when you're up and down the bench and you've seen Cottle hit 200 feet high in the air, then all of a sudden there's that little feel of, okay, yep, that she's taken that ball on the up and she's just lifted with it. And as a batter, you can sort of say, hey, listen, I got, you know, beaten for pace, I got beaten on the outside. Now I can look for that pitch that maybe is going to challenge me on the up, and it can be done, all right? You're starting to answer those questions. So it looks like a regulation flyout is one, but I think that actually helps.
One of my favorite things of Grand Final Day is all the other clubs, all the other A-grade players, they don't have to be here. There's literally no requirement to do that, but they're all out here watching the Grand Final and seeing how it unfolds. There's a look at these Sturt Falcons. Didn't make the finals for the first time in a while, but they're still out here on Grand Final Day cheering it on. I know West Torrens are somewhere down the right field line, I think I saw before.
Yeah, we had a handful of teams in finals today, so it's good to see all the Eagles out there. Only our 12s and A's were missing, and apparently because our 12s coaches play A's, it was their fault on both.
Fair enough. Harsh.
It's harsh.
I mean, Zali Adams, that's a 3.5-hour drive from Port Pirie to come down and watch when you finished 5th, so or 6th even. Sorry. So. And Coach Justina Adams, national championship winning coach in the front row too.
And Stone fouls one away. Yeah, it was good to see all the West Torrens players down here. And lots of Seacombe players from different grades.
Port's out here.
Port is out here too. Yeah, they're all sitting on the left field line, sitting out there with a few members of the Henley and Grange Baseball Club are out there as well. So communities cross-pollinating here on Grand Final Day, as it always seems to happen.
Still very separate, though, the clubs. I think back in the day, weathers would all be mingled up on the hill out there.
Yes.
Didn't matter what club you play for. You'd hung around and cheered on, and
it was.
Softball's always the winner.
There we go. There's the Magpies.
Oh, that's the Hills.
That's the Hills Heat. The Hills Heat are here too.
You got the retired Megan Williams out there on the right, just finishing up this season.
It's almost like you're. I mean, not Mad Monday to call it, but it's almost like your end-of-year party, right? If you're not playing in the game, you're getting around the atmosphere as well. It's always good to see.
Well, you got men's finals up at Anembo tonight for the Men's Hills League as well.
I'm sure they're watching. A shout out to you.
CDSA playing. They played today as well as Gawler, so all happening.
Erin Stone rung up on strike. She was working her way down the first base line. It was a plucky at-bat, but she goes down. Third strikeout of the day for Regan Diaz.
Yeah, that's an important out, not for just the obvious. Getting the leadoff out, changes the way that an opposition can sort of have to defend against you. But with Lux and then the following hitters that come through, that 9 spot, Erin, she's had a breakout year, and she provides them some speed on the base pass, so that even with the likes of Havas and Peterson and Diaz in the infield, Stone, there's still an opportunity to do something. So
Bailey Lux was on the All-Star team in her conference while playing for Oklahoma City University in the last year, and the season that her team went 54-5 in that year. And she hits the ball hard. What a trap over from Abby Dossman.
Good job there by the youngster. She had a rough game the other night with a couple, As an old third baseman, I would not want to be standing there with the hot bats that are on tonight. Yeah. Or the hot bats that are in general, but she did very well to pick that up and throw it out. So,
can you imagine your era using a ghost? No, thank you.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. One bit.
I mean, I'd like to bat with a ghost. that might help, but
you might not be playing as much third base anymore. Sophie King, look at the legs on Sophie King, and she hustles down the line.
Yeah, Mutsi had to get in there. She had to charge that ball with Sophie King's speed. She sat back too far, needed to take another couple of steps forward and throw it on the run to get King.
Her first pitch against Stone was a change-up. First pitch against King, change-up. She got Stone on double change-ups to start that account. Now King's up there. One, be interesting to see what she does here with Robinson.
You could see the expression on Sophie King's face as soon as she hit that ball. It was, let's get to work. And how many times have we called Sophie King infield hits in this competition?
Exactly right. Change up there, one hand on the bat, get the ball in play. You never know what's going to happen in this game of softball.
Well, Chelsea Robinson had a walk and scored a run.
Wow.
And now Sophie King swipes second base. Neely Peterson just lost the ball in her transfer. She's got a rocket of an arm. I'm not sure she would have thrown out King. She had a great jump.
Yeah, she did.
So now a runner in scoring position, and Chelsea Robinson trying to do what Walkerville did in the first inning, which is a 2-out base hit.
Yeah, just a bobble there on the transfer by Neely. Sort of threw it out of her glove into the bare hand.
Regan Diaz, though, has 2 strikes on the former Aussie Spirit player. Can she escape a mini jam? They're going to need a little bit more time. A little bit of a hush that we've become accustomed to at West Beach. I love the West Beach hush. It happens in baseball and in softball. It's a very knowledgeable community, and the silence doesn't mean that they're bored or they don't know what's going on. It means they know hyper intently what's going on, and you hear a little hush before the first pitch gets released. Robinson went after it. It's fouled straight back over our commentary spot, and she stays alive in the count. She's a tough one to get out. Ellie Smith stands on deck.
She's definitely the one. I mean, Tigers will want this one. Up next is Ellie Smith with the RBI queen, But Sophie will not give in.
Just trying to figure out.
Chelsea, not Sophie. Chelsea Robinson,
both of them.
bad.
Sophie on base, Chelsea on
Sophie's there, Chelsea's there. They look very similar.
But you're right. If Chelsea just gets on, you don't want to tempt fate with Ellie Smith with bases, with runners on bases. Yeah. It's a great point. Ground ball over towards third. Mossman has to charge on. Robinson was hustling down the line. Mossman held her nerve. She had to make 2 plays that inning, and she does so.
That's a big play in a big game, and it seems simple, but again, King was rounding because that's how fast she is. So it's all well and good to work hard over a career to get to the Premier League. But when you get to the Premier League and you become a Premier League Grand Final player, the only thing that you need on the back of it is you need to be a premiership winner to get the card. And she's stepping up in a big game. She just had a ball, lightning rod hit at her, and then she had a slow one, and then she's come up with that. So Great work by the young players, and that's what it needs on a night like tonight. It might be something dramatic, but it more often or not, it's something that's just something simple that's executed really well that makes the difference.
It's got a little cold around the diamond, too. You see people with their thermocups and, some ear pods on, presumably listening to us and our, well, I wouldn't call them wise, but words, at least, well, not wise coming from me, wise coming from Danny Moffat to my left and Anthony Weatherston to my right.
It's definitely the West Beach cold has started to come through.
Oh, yeah. It'd probably be like 30 degrees
100%,
and beautiful in the city right now.
Shout out to Ursula Lundberg, who has brought down some heated scarves, and she herself...
Are those Happy Lap coats?
That is.
Oh, my goodness.
She herself, like the catcher, I did not know that, went to Oklahoma City, and we've had 3 or 4 players go to Oklahoma City from South Australia, and Ursula is one of them.
Yeah, oh, there you go.
There you go. We had Mosley, Tracy Mosley, Nat Coulis,
back in the
Ursula Lundberg. We're talking back in my era, Eric. So,
I wish I knew that connection, because we presented Bailey Lux with a Happy Lapco
on Wednesday night.
That is awesome. We'll have to get the word out there, Ursh, if you're listening. I know you're in the stand. Confused as well. Play for Torrens Valley. Daughter plays for Seacombe.
I coached her at Walkerville.
Yeah, so it's like, it's good to see a bit of club swapping.
Neely Peterson takes a first pitch strike. These two, Neely Peterson and Taylor Cottle, they are about to become teammates in a couple of weeks when they fly out to Italy to play for Serrano in the competition over in Europe. On Monday. So this week, in 2 days from now. But right now, they are mortal enemies going against each other in a grand final. And they had 2 of the most memorable at-bats that I can recall from this season in the first finals on Saturday. One was an 11-pitch at-bat. The other was a 10-pitch at-bat, and Neely Peterson kept fouling them away. It was fun to watch. One was a walk, one was a strikeout.
And they haven't altered their game plan either. They're still working that hard inside. They got her. Sorry, that's not what I meant. Sorry.
That was hard. That was hard inside.
That was hard.
That was hard inside.
Too inside.
Too hard. Too inside.
I didn't need to say that. I was going to say. Oh my God. What I was going to say was, they've stuck to what was working for them. And when I say working, I mean, like in the first innings, they got her on a soft fly out. So I loved how the fact though that happened to Bailey Lux last week. Didn't move. She just ran up the line. Same thing for Neely. So,
well, the leadoff runner is aboard. It's the second time that's happened today. Regan Diaz led off the first with a single, and now Becky Havis wastes no time and pops one into center field. She's turning into one heck of a big game player. Havis and Neely Peterson, 2 on base, nobody out, down by 1 in the middle innings.
Loves the big occasion. Loves the big occasion. That's all you do. Like strong hands, line drives, right spot.
This is where you earn reputations.
She's earned it.
Games like this. This is how you separate yourself from everybody else. And tell you what, that was a great pickup by Hayley May. Did you see that break late? If that had got past her, Peterson rounds.
Abby Mossman trying to show bunt, and this is the school of Linda Martin. Linda Martin coaching the other team right now, but Linda Martin logic says that if there's a runner on first and second and nobody out, you bunt every day of the week. West Torrens does a lot of that too with scoring situations.
Scoring situations, then it takes ground ball to second base, ground ball to short, pass ball scores a run.
It is one of the most obvious sort of plays that you should be. And it's funny because you think because it's about to happen that the defense is just going to automatically cover it and make a fancy play like Jess Maslin running in on Wednesday night, taking that sliding ball and stuff like that. Batter still needs to execute it. Fielder still needs to execute the pickup. They still need to execute the throw. And you sort of can sometimes put them in 2 minds because they're getting the ball so quick. If they do defend against it, they start thinking lead runner. And just that question mark, there's not enough time in softball. Base pass is 60 feet. You've got to make the decision split second. Creates chaos, and that's sometimes what's the difference.
One strike on Abby Mossman, showing bunt again. Pulls back. It's 2 strikes, and now it'll be an interesting question. Now, normally I'd say she won't be bunting anymore, but we saw Annalie Dolman go down on a 3rd strike bunt, and that's what I like watching when Bill Benedictson's coaching, too. He's not afraid to try some things to cause some chaos on the base paths. We'll see if he calls for one here. Bunted, popped up straight in the air, makes the play. They stick with the game plan, but that's now twice they've gone down, and just Seacombe in the last couple games kind of struggling executing that bunt.
Yeah, I mean, Danny and I feel very much the same way about the short game. I mean, at this level, you need to be able to execute it because it changes the dynamic of what you're doing. Granted, it can't be easy against somebody of Taylor's pace, but, you know, now the whole thing changes.
Well, executing short game becomes so important in games that are often decided by 1 run, and when runs are very expensive in a grand final.
Well, I mean, you look at it right now. I mean, the argument is you can get Mutsi to try and do it and have 2 shots at it. And if she that way brings Lint up, who's got some experience, can hit the ball long, good eye.
A double today.
If they pitch her out.
Pop straight up in the air. Look at the charge that Lux is making on it, and that one pops out and rattles behind us.
If they pitch her out and load the bases to create an infield force, you then bring Shepherd to the plate in that situation, and all of a sudden the pressure with a runner on 3rd, the ball that breaks through the infield, you're not just scoring 1, you can score a couple, and you don't want to get greedy, especially in a game like this, but
Bailey Lux trying to get the attention of the defense out in right field. I think they're calling Aaron Stone in a little bit.
Would suggest that Taylor's going to be going hard inside.
Let's see again. Pops one out into foul territory. A good charge put on it was Georgia Mason, but runs out of real estate. Remains 2 strikes.
Pete Williams on the ball there. Out there.
What can't he do?
He's getting everything. He's got the toasted cheese sandwich too. You're right, Weathers. I harp on every time I'm on here about bunting. You know, it's we practice bunting, but I think like at bats, we need to face them live.
You never really know how important they are until you really need to use them.
That was the pitch that got Mutsi last time.
She lays off it this time. It's a 1-2 pit count now with Taylor Cottle. Here's a look at the Sporties replay, and just on the outside, and Mutsi thought about it. She thought twice, though. Now she's starting to take this count deep. A couple foul balls, but almost off the bag was Neely Peterson. Everything just a little bit tighter here in a grand final. She tripped over the bag, had to keep her balance too.
That's not a way to get out right there.
Mutsi puts the ball in play. Cottle plays the ball, and well, it's just as good as a bunt. Now advances the runners to 2nd and 3rd. A base hit should score 2. However, there are 2 outs on the board.
She's even like all of her at-bats are tough at-bats, which is what's been really impressive by Mutsi this, finals campaign. She's really stepped up. Always been a talented young player from Seacombe who's a good shortstop, but is really now starting to develop a tough out mentality.
So there will be a runner for the catcher over at 3rd. One of the little rules of softball, and you've got 2 outs, and your catcher is on base, which Neely Peterson is. You can substitute for a runner, which usually works out in your favor unless your catcher is really fast. Bree Lint went swinging. She sent that shot to left fielder last at-bat. That was misplayed by Sophie Roberts, and Bree Lint stood on 2. That would go down handy right now for the Tigers.
Well, that was her swing. Now she's got to do the team swing, cut it down, put this ball on the green, and break the game up.
even a walk, it says there, you know, she's the most walks in the league. So
Yeah,
a walk
she's got the
here
best.
brings up Shepherd and different ball game.
She's a very experienced player, Bree Lind. Good command at the plate.
Scary part about that, Tompkinson, then you're nearly back to the top again. And
Well, Whitney Shepherd standing on deck. She's got a .324 average. She'll be pitching in this game soon enough, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what their game plan is.
well, third time round, it was automatic on Wednesday. So
Cottle has the .099 ERA. Shepherd had an .084, but Walkerville hit her for 4 runs in the first final. Bree Lint got a good piece of that. That one's fouled away.
Shepherd did pitch the B grade grand final today as well, which I went 7 innings as well. So that was a long game as well. That was, you know, nearly 2 hours or so. So to pitch that and then cool down by a couple of hours could be tough for her too.
she
That's
showed
a great point.
She did show, though, at the 23 Nationals up in Queensland that she was great for the SA under-23s in that championship type of environment of multiple games in a day, because that's what the Americans are used to.
Swing and a miss. Cottle puts 2 runners on to start the inning, but escapes the jam. A strikeout of Bree Lint. And they're out of trouble as we've reached the midway point in the game, and Walkerville clinging to a 1-run lead.
Yeah, I don't think Coach Benedictson's going to be too upset about the position of the game. I mean, obviously he'd like a run and like to be in front, but, I mean, you've got the Cats, you know, moving into the halfway point of the game, and there's some of the Seacombe faithful with the Port faithful up there on the first
Pizza
base
party?
line. You got Jess Maslin, Defensive Player of the Year, Brie Marcelino, Liz Knight, pitcher. So a couple of genuine, Bree's up there as well. So good to see that they're down here as well. But I just think that, you know, chasing one in a game, there's an engineer factor to it. If you can execute the right things. And if you can't get the basic execution done, well, then don't deserve it anyway, I suppose, in that regard. But I think, yeah, this is still very much up for grabs.
Well, right now, the only run of the game come in the first inning. It was Chelsea Robinson who worked a 2-out walk, and Ellie Smith had a long at-bat that ended with a double. It cashed in the run, and since then, all but one batter have been retired by this woman in Regan Diaz in the circle, and that was just an infield single to Sophie King. So Diaz has responded since that moment too.
Yeah, we're wondering about that. She's working well into the game right now, Reagan. So
another championship player with the SA Stars, played at the UC Santa Clara in University. Diaz did. This is her second year in South Australia. She's a player you'd love to see keep coming back, but she's got to navigate through Ellie Smith right now, who has the game's only run to her name. You can sort of feel how important it is for Seacombe just to keep this one run.
You were talking before about that West Beach quiet. There's just a little bit of Walkerville has just gone through the heart of Seacombe's lineup. DS is doing the same here. It's tense.
It just sort of feels like if Walkerville can peg a couple here with Taylor Cottle on the mound, it sort of feels like a race to 3. If you can hit that 3, you can't assume anything in softball, but I would if you could put a bet on, you'd say 3 might do the job.
Well, Peterson and Havas and DS all still need to bat again, and you've got Dolman in that top 4 as well, so there's still another opportunity of danger. That's a really well-picked walk for a power hitter leading off.
Ellie Smith having herself an evening right now.
And Sophie Roberts struck out in her first at-bat, looked at 2 strikes, swung on the third. She's just got to back herself more in these situations. She's just sits in the count too long.
she's a player that does like to take a pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. But come around for the bunt here.
A bunt and a diving catch from Havas. Can they turn 2? Yes, sir! the 3-time player of the year at first base, or team of the year rather, shows us why. An unbelievable effort from Havis.
She's definitely having a final series to remember, that's for sure. And to be that aggressive, know that there's a runner on one, to get to her feet, to get the good throw across and get the runner out.
Weathers just shook his head.
Yeah, Weathers just shook his head.
I mean, yeah. That's outstanding. Team of the year, first base. And that being a talisman of the Tigers, what effect is that going to have? Walkerville there, that was an opportunity to maybe take a step forward.
I love this smile on Annalie Dolman's face as well. That took a lot of coordination, a lot of diving, but yeah, to your point, she thought instantly get up and throw a strike to first for the double play. And now a strikeout from Diaz in what looked like a precarious situation with the leadoff walk to Smith. Within a matter of seconds, it's a 1-2-3 inning.
As a coach or a player, that's what you want. A double play, an amazing double play there, gets the energy up. K2, come in, let's get the bats rolling. From the top of the order, let's keep going.
Taylor wouldn't have sat down hardly, she probably would have gone over, had a mouthful of water and just, because obviously she's only pitching in the game, and she finds herself after base runners everywhere and having to work through the bottom part of that lineup in the last innings, and all of a sudden she's back out there again, and that's she's an ultimate professional, but she is truly getting tested right here. These next 3 at-bats for the Tigers, now with momentum. This is what happened Wednesday night. As soon as the game got late and momentum started to swing, the Tigers started to go to work. But that is an amazing play by Becky Havis, and there's a reason, not only is she super popular because she's just a great person and a lot of fun, she's a really good softball player and inspires plenty.
Yeah, the smile on both her and Dolman's face says a lot, doesn't it, about, just the love for the game that they have and good plays and acknowledging that. And
well, it's been a long time since Seacombe have been here. I mean, we talked about that. We go back to the first time that they won, which was a long time ago. And one of our commentators just recently, her mother was the one that actually got them across the line. And there's some very interesting names in that lineup back in the day in 74, 75.
Almost. That was 50 years ago was their first premiership, and they've won one in between then and now. Not a team that have won a lot of shields, the Seacombe Tigers. The coach of that team was Jill Panic, or Panic? How do you pronounce that?
Yeah, Panic.
Panic.
And so that's Kia Shido's mother, who Kia was in the B grade final today coaching for West Torrens, but she's already a multi-premiership coach, winning of the reserve of the Bs, also a premiership player of their A's.
This is a coach, though, from 50 years ago that played also in her day and moved over in 61, and she's actually at the ballpark today.
Yeah.
Seacombe in the finals, and she wasn't going to miss it, so she decided to make her way down to the ballpark. And
yes, I saw Mr. Panache today, and made some really good points about how the game's evolved in 50 years. We're talking about no helmets and
white ball.
White ball. Yeah.
So, wow.
No dirt diamond, probably no fences.
I think he put some notes in and they were pretty crazy. But, there's some interesting names. Jenny Cheeseman, obviously connections there to the Williams brothers at Port Adelaide. And obviously, represented Australia in basketball, softball and netball. So, but 50 years is a long time.
6 strikeouts now for Cottle as Georgia Tompkinson lays down the bunt. She's going to try to hustle this one out. They make the play. They got the bunt down, but the situation that was probably needed, well, when there was runners on first and second and nobody out.
That's exactly right. And there's another fielding pitcher right there that gets out of the circle and takes control, takes the play away from the pivot. Third base had every right to come across and take that ball, but Taylor Cordell was right there.
Third time through the lineup now, so this is where we're in the magic hour from that perspective.
Importantly, it means there's no base runner for Regan Diaz.
And 2 out.
Diaz had 2 triples, 1 to left and 1 to right in the preliminary final game for the Seacombe Tigers, and she's already got a hit today.
But you're right, Weathers, it's hard to make a grand final. And you think about the teams of Seacombe, you know, Rebecca Straps, what a great pitcher.
I was about to say,
Sharon
dominant.
Presswood, Tracy Mosley, you know, Annie Fidge, and those types of players that played for Seacombe in the 90s, early 2000s.
And even the era sort of following that, you took Mandy Braddock.
Mandy Fay.
Mandy Fay. So, you know, they've...
Mandy Braddock as well pitched. Yeah.
So they...
Scraby and, you know, players like
absolutely.
that. Yeah, absolutely.
They were always a team you never really wanted to play. But, I think it just shows, you know, what we're talking 51 years since the first one, 13 years since the last one. I mean, there's a reason why grand finals should be celebrated and finals should be celebrated, because it is so hard to get to them. And then when you get to them, to actually make something of it. So,
and to enjoy it, you know, as a player or a coach, it just goes so quickly. You know, 7 innings is over before you know it.
Yeah.
And, you know, then it's...
Didn't enjoy the first 2 whatsoever. The first one was a loss, and the second one, which was a win, I can remember sitting on the bench with Lindsay McGee, and he came up to me afterwards and he just sort of said, you know, like, you know, we've won, right? I said, mate, I don't care. I just said, I'm just so relieved that it's just over. I had no nails left in my finger. I was done. But
a big strikeout from Taylor Cottle. That is number 7 on the day. Her strikeout numbers keep increasing. That is now 241 on the season.
She's getting close, and she's going to have 6 more opportunities, and that's the scary part now. As a coach, you start thinking, well, that was the 5th. Now we've got 6 outs left. I've got to engineer 1. Critical time out here taken by Coach Stansfield and her coaching group, which of course includes, you know, Coach Fidge as well, who's obviously another superstar coach of the Sport Hall of Famer and State Under-19 coach, National Championship winning coach. That little pause there would have been just, you know, keep doing the basics really well, you know, and just stay the course. We don't need to do anything extra here. So, but I liked what I saw there with the Tigers. Tompkinson got, you know, 3 fast pitches from Cordell for a 3-pitch strikeout at bat in her first at bat. And to the young kid's credit, came up to the plate, tried something different, put the ball in play and forced Cordell to come up with something and something else to happen in the defence. So Tigers still working and still working hard, and they're only 1 behind. And the top of the line, their next 3 batters are Dolman, Peterson, Havis. So the Cats really need to put some pressure on here and give Cordell a break. Last innings went real quick.
And I think right there, that K2 on Diaz is probably the K2 of the game. You know, that's huge.
Yep. And she knew it too.
Yeah,
she knew, she froze. I think the appreciation of how good a pitcher Cordell is sometimes just get lost in the numbers.
Georgia Mason takes a pitch on the inside. Mason 0 for 1 in this game so far. She flew out on a nice little shot that had some pop to left field, but it is windy and cold tonight. We'll just mention that it's cold again.
It is West Beach, and it is March, only April. Same thing with Walkerville, Anthony, about, you know, what players they sort of had throughout the years, and the premierships they won, and, you know, Linda Martin and Karen Dale and Mayor Crawford and, you know, Tony Lohman and players like that. It's hard.
It's really hard. And the scary thing is, and you get a group like that together and you start getting some success, and create some very strong mental players, but
We've sort of seen that recently as well, if you want to add to the significance of this, with West Torrens and Port Adelaide having to make the last 3 grand finals in a row is sort of a testament to the special group of players both of those clubs have, that the season's come down there. But if you're not on those 2 teams, it becomes really hard to break through and get through that, and that's what Walkerville and Seacombe have both done as Regan Diaz gets a strikeout of Georgia Mason.
So Coach Stansfield should be looking here for Steph Gall to be a tough bat here. Time is just as important at the moment for just a little bit of mental reset for Caudle and Stone, who, was chasing change-ups in her first at bat. So there's an argument to just keep her out there a bit longer. Yeah, look, 100%, Eric, 100%.
Just a reminder, these games are 7 innings or more if it's still tied. There is a time limit on the minor round games. But in the finals, that goes out the window. We play 7. There is a run rule that is in effect, although we are nowhere close to it right now. This chopped up in the air. A diving effort from Regan Diaz. She's going to make the... Oh, the ball was dropped at the last second. It was a bang-bang play. Diaz... That's sort of the heart-and-mouth stuff if you're a coach watching your pitcher fly in like that, but that's the kind of player she is.
I thought she was going to come up and make that play off of her knees, which is ridiculous.
Just unfortunate there with the first base.
Short game opportunity here because Stone's just got to be able to push it into space. Gall's not going to run on Peterson's arm, so she's going to need bat protection. They haven't changed her as a runner because obviously she's the flex. So Stone's role here is to advance and to give Lux an opportunity at 2 out with a runner at 2. The good thing for Stone is that because she's now showing short, she takes away the change-up opportunities that Diaz used so effectively in her first at-bat, because if she's trying to advance the runner, a change-up's going to play into her hands in reality.
Aaron Stone's had a big breakout season this year for Walkerville, it feels like. That second leadoff at number 9 has become a big spot across all these teams in the competition, but Aaron Stone's done that job well this year.
In the early voting of the Kath Coral on Sunday night, she was leading Caudle up until round 4, and then things changed, but she's broken out this year.
Can she get a runner in scoring position for Bailey Lux? There's a bunt laid. Havis looks at first, and that ball slips away. Now it's 2 free base runners in the top of the lineup coming through for a 3rd time for Walkerville. Is this the moment that the Cats pounce?
So the bench for... Yeah, Coach Stan, I would suggest that there's going to be a runner change for Gall.
We'll see what number pops in.
All right, so you got Casey Taylor, who's got wheels.
47?
The other 3.
Kelly Bested has been coming in a few times. It looks like Kelly Bested is...
Yeah.
That bunt got to Havis quite quick, and Woodsy wanted that ball up at 2.
Yeah.
She was calling for it. Unfortunately, Havis didn't even take a look to see where she's going. She just had all eyes for 1, and I think that's why Bindy's now put a pinch runner out there at 2.
Yeah, and because you've got these next 2 hitters, if the Cats at 1 out to close this, really put the pressure on the Tigers. Really need to score here, so... These could be lengthy at-bats because they're going to look for the pitch.
Bailey Lux is 0 for 2 today, but was instrumental in that first finals win, and I think it hit her. It did. So the bases are going to be loaded for, somebody who's probably already going in the Cats Hall of Fame in Sophie King. If she's not there already and she's still playing, she's got bases loaded and a chance to blow this grand final open.
If I flicked a softball at you at 97, 98 k an hour, Danny, I think my first reaction would be go to ground. And I would be I would be rolling. Like, how do you get hit by that, even flicked like that, and just run up the first base like nothing has genuinely happened?
And then it got nearly in the face mask as well, which is not pleasant in itself.
Sophie King had the winning RBI in the last game of the season. Walkerville needed to win that game to not just win the minor premiership, but to play in the 1-2 game and set themselves up for success in the finals. King was the one that delivered.
Well, the change on Wednesday night was third time through the lineup. They just automatically changed. With 2 hitters into the third time through, no movement in the bullpen. Not that I've seen anyway. I've just been looking at here. So this is Reagan's third time through the top of the line. And she's just thrown 3 balls to the smaller strike zone on the Cats lineup.
No place to put her. A ball will be a run, and it could be a damaging run for Seacombe's title hopes. She got the strike. That was a gutsy one from Regan Diaz.
I actually find it very interesting. Understandably, the pivots are in, but the outfield's quite shallow. You know, they get past them. That's 3 to 4 runs right there.
Yeah.
Give it up. Give up a single. There's a single. As good as a single.
Well, they walk in a run. 2 errors, a hit by pitch, and a walk. No balls were hit out of the infield. Bases remain loaded. It's now a 2-0 game. And Chelsea Robinson, who has a walk, a run, and has played for the Spirit, steps up to the plate. And you see her numbers in the first final, and now here comes the change.
Well, we're about to have that question asked, Danny, of has the B-grade grand final done anything to Shepherd? She came in and did a great job against Port Adelaide. She struck out Marcelino, struck out Maslin as she came in that first time and the third time through. Now she's only got Robertson and Smith to get by.
Has to get through them to keep their hopes alive. 2 runs is already a lot against a pitcher in Taylor Caudill, who averages just 1 run a game.
With loaded bases, 1 out too, and it is unfortunate. I think Coach Benedictson probably wanted her to go and finish that innings out at least. A couple of errors and was pretty much the runners on 1 and 2 hit by pitch ball. I think they needed to keep it inside.
It is
tight on that batter. So,
it is an interesting field placement. It's an aggressive. We're trying to get an outfield placement, but Sophie King's the type of player that she doesn't hit that shallow. I'm not suggesting that she's a power hitter. She can hit a long ball, sure, but she's a great timer of the ball. And but now Robinson's going to be a really tough out. Smith, RBI's opportunity, that's what she's here to do. So the Cats they've got to close the door here because they've still got Peterson and Havers to come. Only takes 1 to sort of start that belief. So this is going to be a very, very big at-bat right here.
Missed most of last season because she became a mom. Back full-time this year, and Chelsea Robinson went .368, had 18 hits, 3 RBIs in the first final. Had the walk that generated right now as it stands, it's the go-ahead, the winning run back in the first inning.
So you talk about, before you were asking the question about what does it mean third time round, Shepherd, similar height to Diaz, maybe just a little bit more, but it's the dip that Shepherd drops into her thing and then comes up.
Robinson, opposite field. Tompkinson moving back, and she can't make the play. 1 run is in. It's a 3-0 game. They're pushing for a 4th. Play at the plate. She's safe. That might be the moment. Walkerville plate 2, and they're in pole position for a premiership.
Definitely a tough read there going back, running back with the ball when you're so shallow.
It's a great call by D-Mac at the plate. A great base running too.
Yeah. Tompkins out there thinking, I've got to make this catch and then I've got to get this ball out of the glove and then to home.
Hand just got in underneath. Great base running by Lux.
Well, this is significant because they've just put the championship winning run on base with 1 out. Sophie Roberts comes up. If they score 3 runs here, it's a 7-0 lead. Bottom of the 5th, run rule in effect. Cats win the premiership. I understand that you don't want to tempt fate with Ellie Smith, who's had an RBI double and a walk today, but that is a significant risk to take by putting the premiership run on base. And leave it with Sophie Roberts, who can smoke it.
When she's on, and let's hope that... Oh, it's 2 strikes. Check swing got her. This is a very important pitch here by Shepherd.
Yeah. Roberts has got to switch to contact mode, stay alive, rather than batting in winning runs now.
Knocked to the right side. This could be 2.
Bang, bang.
It is. A mini break for the Tigers, who turn their second double play, put Walkerville plate 4 and have a premiership in sights.
And who would you ask to hit the ball, field the ball? Reagan Diaz. She transformed their field when she went there Wednesday night. And here she is again, fielding shallow because of the situation. Good reflex catch. Throw touch high, Havers good enough to take it. And for the second time in the game, Smith gets thrown into a double play where she's up the line, not by her own fault, and she's out. But I tell you, I mean, you're right, that could have broken the game wide open. But now Seacombe's 2 of their 3 toughest hitters about to come to the plate. If Caudle can get through them, then the mental game will start asking some serious questions.
Yeah, a foot higher, a foot either side. That's a couple of runs right there. She smoked that too, Sophie, and not much you can do as a runner there at first base.
Well, 3 runs scored in that 4th, and it happened kind of innocently, to be honest. It was the error, 2 errors, but 2 runners on with 1 out, then a hit by pitch, and then a walk to Sophie King. Chelsea Robinson, what did you say at the beginning of the broadcast, Danny? Put the ball in play and good things happen. It was a hard hit ball towards right field and dropped in the outfield, and Chelsea Robinson helps put in a couple of runs, and then all of a sudden it's a 4-run game, and now only 6 outs in their pocket. And the best player has voted this year in the Cap Coral winner in Taylor Caudle in the circle.
And she ain't going to give up easy at-bats here. The K2 Queen will be out for the record. Good aggressive swinging there by Dolman, attacking the first pitch.
Caudle right now had 11 strikeouts in her first final and 7 so far in this game, which brings her total to 241 strikeouts for those counting at home. The number is 243 or 245?
I thought it was 245, but I'm happy. I'm traditionally wrong, so I'm just quickly calculating
how many hands do you
clubs.
need?
I'm quickly calculating clubs of the year at the moment. I'm multitasking, which is risky for someone such as myself.
Annalie Dahlman takes a pitch upstairs. You talked about energy in the dugout before. Danny Moffat in a grand final. I mean, how do you try to find that energy when you're staring down the barrel of a tricky hole here?
It's tough, but it's going to take the senior players in those dugouts to get up to. It's It is hard when you're a couple down, but let's, work together. There's still two chances to go here too.
Goes off speed and gets Dahlman chasing.
Sometimes it is easier when another double play there to end that inning as previous innings to take that momentum.
Got her. Strikeout number 8. Strikeout number 242 on an incredible season from Taylor Cottle. And now a big matchup. Neely Peterson and Becky Havis, the two most potent players in this offense.
Taylor will be wanting this to be 243 right here. She'll be wanting Neely to be back in that dugout.
She's on 242 right now.
And we know Neely takes a lot of pitches, can foul off a lot of pitches as well. So her at-bats are tough. Tough outs for Taylor.
Still working the inside.
Think back to the 4th inning when Peterson was hit by a pitch. Havis singled. There was runners in 1st and 2nd in the 4th and nobody out. And Taylor Cottle has retired 7 straight since that point. Could have been the moment the Tigers went ahead in the grand final and changed the pressure points. Instead, Cottle helped get them out of that jam.
Yeah, the Tigers definitely had to get a run that inning.
Peterson jammed. Cottle moving back. She makes the play, and down goes Peterson. 4 outs to go, 4 runs to chase.
Smith was on the line for that play, so they were obviously working something. Now Becky
Havis. This would be a big momentum moment for Walkerville if they get through this lineup. 2, 3, 4. All leaders of the club down in order.
It's going to be asking a lot of 5, 6, 7. But this is Seacombe's MO. When it's been tough and late, they have performed very well.
Havis fouls one back.
5 to win in a grand final with 4 outs to play. That's
yeah, it's pretty tough.
Pretty tough when you're facing probably arguably the best pitcher since Perry that we've seen from overseas. I mean, obviously you've still got Trzynski in that mode as well, so.
She's sitting on 242 strikeouts right now, Cottle. She'll need to strike out all 4 of the remaining batters to break the record for most strikeouts in a season, including finals, which is 245 by Katie Sutherland Finch.
I did not know that.
3 to tie. Although Taylor Cottle would be thinking one thing right now. 4 outs.
4 outs. I don't care how we get them. Let's go 4 outs. And, even the next batting dig for them, a couple more runs.
And now Bailey Lux just calling some time to have a bit of a conversation, and Cottle trying to get back on the same page.
Similar discussion could be there, Eric. 4 outs, let's go. We got this. Let's do it.
One pitch at a time. Walkerville can taste it. They missed the finals last year. Pretty nasty off speed. Low, away. What can you do with that?
Especially when nothing changes with the pitcher's action. The arm speed's the same and all that stuff, and just comes out a bit slower.
Knocked to the right side. Misses automatic. Sophie King. She's had a couple of those plays today where she sticks out that left hand and snags it. And now Walkerville officially 3 outs away.
It was a real hit ball there as well. Happers continues her hitting, and as usual, Sophie King, a little slight left step and in the glove, and no fuss King.
Yeah, did it early too.
Just get it done.
But, I mean, I think Danny said it earlier in the night. The hardest parts of these games is to close them out. So those last 3 outs seem like they take forever. And you feel like you've got to do everything you can to get to it. As I said, that's how I remember those first finals. They were nightmares in that regard. So, this is a new team from last year. There's been, 3 or 4 players change over, so it's a new identity. They've been the front runners for most of the year. So now it's just a matter for Caudle to go out and do her thing, and Lux to do her thing, and Seacombe to put the ball into play and force the defence to have to come up with something. So this is all just an opportunity here. Is that a batting change? Is that Reed that's come in?
Looks like Aaron Reed.
Previous premiership player with the Cats.
Yeah, she's commanded right field for a while, Aaron Reed.
Yep. Pitched a bit of B grade.
Coming in for Haley Mayer, who struck out twice today. Different look versus a new pitcher, too. Whitney Shepherd came in. They made that change on the third batter of the third time through. You got to wonder if it was just a couple batters too late. After a couple errors, 2 errors, a hit by pitch, and a walk, and then a drop ball in right field. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 free bases in a row, costing 3 runs for Seacombe, changing it from a 1-swing game to a commanding 4-run lead for Walkerville.
And that's the game of softball. It just takes one thing, to get on a roll in the era speak, so to speak, as well. So with the hitting.
Aaron Reed jams one to the right side. Play made by Oregon Diaz.
It's difficult too. Danny, I think probably more our era is most of the players that you have in your team are specialists. So, they've basically played majority there all year. Most of these changes now that they're having to change is because the offensive part of the game is still important. And so defensively, you're having to make allowances, which means you're having to move defenses around, which sometimes can ask questions of you in big games like this. And I'm not trying to, give Seacombe any excuses, but it's difficult, when you're having, 2 gun pitchers who both bat. And so what do? You can't leave DS out of that field. You can't leave her out of that batting lineup if she's not pitching. So 100%. She has to play. So that means somebody else has to get dislodged. And, Lintz predominantly played a lot of third, and so it's a difficult management of those teams, whereas, I don't ever remember that pressure. So, it was Mel Roberts, just do your thing, and if we go to the bullpen, we go to the bullpen. But, but, the Cats look settled. King and Robinson in those spots. It's, King's been lights out tonight defensively on the side, and Smith and Mason have done what they've needed to do. Helps when the ball doesn't get hit at you 200 times less than most other teams.
Yeah, valid point. That's great. And then when, Reagan goes to pitch to pivot, that changes that as well. She might stand in a slightly different position with her positioning and her foot speed. And, we talk about Sophie Roberts in the outfield, not an outfielder, but she's in the team for her hitting.
Yeah.
And she's a player. She can, pick the game up from anywhere. And
she's an athlete. You can't win.
That's exactly right. You just put your hitters in the field. Put your hitters in the lineup and in the field. And, gone are the days you can hit the ball. Now you want to be first base.
Yeah.
That type of situation.
You can't be in a team that's won 2 national championships, though, if you haven't got talent. And that's what she's got. So that's why. And look, left field under lights, ball turning in. Yeah. Not easy. Kelly Bested comes in as well. Cats clearing the bench. I like this by Coach Stansfield. dangerous.
Well, Beston came in for that pinch run earlier when they were looking for that big go-ahead run, but there it is right there. They end the inning. We head to the 7th and final inning. Walkerville just 3 outs away from a first premiership in 7 years.
I didn't do a good job of it Sunday night, so I'm going to steal 30 seconds from you, Eric, and I just wanted to say a big thank you to the ASA community, the clubs, the teams, the volunteers, everybody that's been a part of this season, to Roo Weaver and his people, John McGay and Graham, who have helped with our grounds. The umpires under Steve Wallace-Yarrow have done a great job so far this season. To all the teams and the clubs and all of their theme rounds, to Spacequake, to Brandon and his crew, to you, Eric, lifting the standard of our competition and sport just by, helping us with the broadcast just takes it to a whole nother level. And so just, a big thank you to everybody collectively for everything that they've done, the volunteering behind the canteen and the bar to enable us to do the live stream. So there's been lots of people to thank. Didn't do it right on Sunday. So, thank you to everybody, and all the best for next season.
Well, I'll add 2 to that. First off, a big thank you to everybody at home that has chipped in. I mean, that's how much of a community this softball community is people literally put together their dollars and cents to make sure these games were broadcast. But Anthony Weatherston, a big thank you for you. I'm not too sure I've seen anybody in any community bust their tail like I've seen you this year, Dewey. Literally everything. I mean, you were cooking a sausage sizzle before this game, running the bar, coordinating the broadcast, coordinating awards, coordinating the teams, calculating who's winning premiership shields, and everything in between. So Weathers, a heartfelt thank you on behalf of every club and everybody in the softball community.
Thanks, Eric. Appreciate that, especially from yourself.
Well, here we go. The Linda Martin Shield is in Walkerville's grasp. They are 3 outs away, but Danny, as we've heard Weathers say a couple times, these are the 3 most stressful outs that you can ask for in softball. Abby Mossman has made a couple nice defensive plays today. She's got to find a way to get on base.
Yeah, you're definitely right. 3 outs. Even as a coach in this position, it seems like a lifetime, but then you got these kids out from Seacombe that still want to keep going. They have the belief, and one of them wants to step up.
Both these teams missed the finals last year. Seacombe finished 5th, Walkerville finished 6th. Walkerville this year stormed out of the gates. They had 11 wins at Christmas to sit top of the table. They had a little blip in February where they lost 3 of 4, and then they ended the season with a draw and 3 straight wins, won the 1-2 game, and got here. That's 5 unbeaten in a row entering this game for Walkerville, peaking at the right time.
Linda Martin always said you never win anything in December. So, and I always remember it was a slow burn with the Cats back in that day. And it was just a matter of building throughout the season and getting it right at the end rather than be perfect at the start and try and maintain it. And it was a lesson well learnt, and genuinely appreciated not having to find that out myself the hard way. And because it helps you put it in context, especially with the break that we have over Christmas and the national championships. You basically play 2 seasons in one. So good advice, and comes true yet again.
Fouled away again.
Yeah, I did hear Bindi having to walk past after West Torrens warm-up out in Diamond 2. The Cats had just lost the game they should have won, and she wasn't happy. So, to give the girls a bit of a rev up is what they needed moving in. That was in February, so that, has moved them through to the finals and to where they are now.
Well, obviously, we've spoken about Taylor all throughout the competition, but Bailey Lux's addition after Christmas has been crucial. She's changed the way the front top part of their offense. I'd spoken to Eric at length about my question mark over the Cats was always their lineup. It was just getting that lineup right, and Lux being the lead-off has been a masterstroke by Coach Stansfield in that regard, as well as what she's brought to the plate. And you look at Smith as well. So they got quality, but the advantage that the Cats have got is that core behind it. Robertson, King, Mayer, and now the stepping up of Stone, Mason coming through. And you've obviously still got Roberts as well there. That's a very good, strong core. So you're really just doing some additions to sort of help you go up. But, 6th to 1st, that's an outstanding effort.
Absolutely. And I think, like, for me, Lux, although she's only been here the second half, really only probably a lead off one time in a game when you are listed as lead off, but she comes out super aggressive, super hard swing of the bats, and really gets you excited as an opposition coach. You like to see that, but she just comes out ready to go.
Well, I'd said to Eric that I wanted Sophie King. I wanted Chelsea Robinson out of that one spot because there was a Walkerville mentality in Linda's era, which was put your best at the top because given the most amount of bats, and it makes total sense. But just to have the likes of the Chelsea, hitting with some people in front of her, just to score those runs because they weren't an offensive juggernaut.
No,
they were a defensive juggernaut.
Best defensive team all year, Walkerville, although not as many balls in play because this woman, Taylor Cottle, has struck out 243 batters this season. 2 strikeouts away from equaling the record, 2 strikeouts away from a championship. This one popped up in foul territory, and Mason lets this one go. It'll be 2 strikes again on Sasha Mutzi. 9 strikeouts today. She's given up 3 hits. She's hit 1 batter with no walks. She was the same in the first final. She allowed 8 hits, nothing too hard hit, but no walks. Seacombe gave up 3 bases today. Taylor Cottle and the defense, like they have all year, have not. Just 35 walks for Cottle this year in over 130 innings. It's one every 4.5.
Are these numbers AI generated or they're real? They are actually. It's. You can see why she won and the way that she won. All of the awards that she did. Oh wow!
Well, there's strikeout 244 on the year.
Oh, fair chance.
Strikeout number 10. If she gets a strikeout here, it's an equal record.
How long has this record stood for?
Since 2018.
Yeah, so you got to remember records prior to that were maybe not as well documented.
Yeah.
But going back, I mean, I look back over my records that I've still got from, 1999 because they were obviously relevant. And there was no strikeout numbers across the league at that level, even with the success, that was coming towards the back end of Kylie and Tony and Strapsy and so on.
Yeah.
But even to that next tier of like Roberts and Bond and so on, I've never seen anything 240 in that.
Breland just misses here. Walkerville 1 out away from winning the trophy that's named after one of their coaches. Cottle trying to strike out the side to do it as well. Hard hit ball, this one going foul. Walkerville scored in the first inning by care of an Ellie Smith RBI, but they blew it open in the 5th. 5 free bases, 3 errors, and a hit by pitch and a walk helped plate 3 runs, and Walkerville were in command. 1 strike away. It's winning time at Walkerville. Champions of 2025. Cottle ties the strikeout record Walkerville win the premiership, and they go from out of the finals to ruling the softball South Australia land.
That's an amazing effort by the coaching staff of Coach Stansfield, Coach Martin, Coach Fidge. They've assembled that team. They've risen from 6th to 1st. They've isolated what they've needed to do. They've gone out and got it. They've worked hard, and they have now delivered. And that'll mean a lot to them winning the Shield of the GOAT.
Yeah, thoroughly deserved their Walkerville. They did blow it open in that one inning, and like we said, just get that ball in play, force the pressure, big games, and the Cats stuck true.
Yep.
That's what they've done all season.
Yes, I haven't seen dominance like that from the middle, but, you know, as I said, you've got to credit the catching staff, you've got to credit the coaches for obviously the work that they do in preparation as well. But look, Seacombe, you know, that's a big rise coming from, you know, 5th to 2nd, and you know they'll be. I know they don't want to hear it. They'll be better for it. Sometimes the adage is you've got to lose one to win one, and yeah, I mean that's obviously a great scene of that. So they'll be much better for it. They know what it's like. You know, Tompkinson's been in a final now. Mossman's final, like Mutsi in a final. That'll pay them back in spades next year as they build.
Yeah, 100%. As long as they try and keep that core group together, you know, who knows what's going to happen with Diaz and Neely. Same with Walkerville, who knows what's going to happen over that side.
Yep, for sure.
Definitely, you know, Coach Benedictson's done very well with them.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, you look at Ericsson from last year and Timmerson, and so, you know, and now this year they pick up, you know, Peterson and Shepherd, and so you would say that, you know, maybe, you know, just as good, if not better. And so it'll be a tough loss, but it'll be one that'll probably put them in much better stead. They won't realise that at the moment. That hurts. But, yeah, we'll see how we go. So we've got the best in the business who's about to go over and have a chat with Taylor Caudle and Chelsea Robinson from the Walkerville Cats.
Well, this isn't the player of the game. We're going to get the player of the game awards after. I honestly have no idea this time. The one time I don't get to choose a player of the game. But two players that played a big role in this. We'll start with you, Chelsea Robinson. Chelsea had that walk in the first, then scored what ended up being the winning run there. What was the mentality of Walkerville heading into this game?
I think we all knew Taylor was going to keep us in that game and do her job. So as Walkerville and our club, we really needed to focus on hitting this season. And we knew one run's not enough, and we just have to keep working to that. So quality at-bats was just the main thing, get the ball in play.
Taylor, you wake up, you know you're going to be all week pitching in this grand final game. What does a routine look like for a pitcher knowing, 7:30, then it turns 8 o'clock? How do you even navigate a day like this?
It's nice that our team hits in the indoor before because I just sit there and watch them hit. I usually start my stretches because I'm old now, so I have to stretch for a while, about an hour before the game. So I just always make sure I'm checking with the team like when first pitch is. And then it was really nice having this whole week off to like let ourselves work Tuesday at our training and then take the next couple days to actually let our bodies recover and get ready for the game.
Chelsea, back playing full season of softball again after becoming a mom. What does this club mean to you that you were able to come back and play like you did this year?
Honestly, it means a lot this year. The committee have done so much behind the scenes. We almost didn't have an A grade, so the work that they've done behind, and I couldn't think of playing for anyone else, so it was a bit of a scary thought if we weren't going to have A grade. So this means a whole lot, and even more being the Linda Martin Shield. So there's a lot to play for with this league, and it's great. It's one of the best, so always good to play.
Taylor, were you able to get wrapped up in that environment fairly early, just coming here and feeling obviously what it means to people like Chelsea, Sophie, that have been around for a while on this team?
Yeah, we had a goal-setting meeting at the beginning of the year where our main goal was top 2, and we finished top 1 in everything. So we knew coming in what our goals were and what we wanted to do, and every training was that way. And I think as the season went on, we got even better, especially like our bats started to get more consistent, our defense got really clean, so everything towards the end was just building up to this moment.
I don't know if this was on the goal-setting list at the beginning of it, but with that last strikeout there, you tied the record from what we have on record for most strikeouts in a season. Obviously, you were thinking premiership, though. So what was that first feeling when that third strike was called?
It was pretty great. I usually don't yell a lot in games, but I had quite a bit of emotion there. I was more so just wrapped up in the fact that our team has worked so hard and we just got that last out to win. I didn't care if it was me or if it was anybody behind. Like, we just needed an out. So it was very cool, but I didn't know that that tied it.
Chelsea, finally, last one from you. You've had some legends of your club coach your team this year. What has it meant to have just 3 legends of the softball game in South Australia be around the club and help guide this?
Yeah, I think they just show the commitment and set the standard from the start. So I think they really built the girls this year, and obviously it shows. Yeah, we've won the thing. So awesome.
Well, I won't keep you any longer. Taylor, Chelsea, congratulations on winning. Go celebrate with your team, and we'll have the presentations coming up for you.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Thanks, Eric, and congratulations to the 2024-25 Linda Martin Shield winners, Walkerville. The girls sound...
how good did they speak?
They were very good, very stoked, and very down to earth, and good to hear from Taylor and her pre-game stuff and things like that. That's really interesting.
Cool to hear how much it means to Chelsea about how, it's not even... It didn't feel like a thought. It was going to be a thought whether she was playing or not this year. I mean, you sometimes see it, players start families and the commitment is obviously different, and that's okay. But Chelsea was around it last year, even when the team was struggling a little bit. She wasn't in the lineup. It was great to see her. She just had a normal stat line, Chelsea Robinson, this year, and for her to score that championship run feels very fitting.
Yeah, absolutely. She's just a down-to-earth kid as well, and just loves the game and plugs along, and even to wear the number 8
yeah,
and win it
that's
now.
Crazy.
That's pretty very impressive. So.
Well, they are about to announce some of the awards. We'll just try to eavesdrop in on this conversation as well. I think that's for Junior Club of the Year, Sturt Softball Club. And aren't they a factory? Like, I feel like Sturt just produces, that's why their premiership team or their A-grade team is just so competitive year in and year out. And on top of that, I mean, there's only 9 spots on a starting lineup of an A-grade team. How many players, juniors, do you see on other clubs that came through the Sturt system and then are playing elsewhere? And time again, it feels like death, taxes, and Sturt winning the Junior Club of the Year.
That's exactly right.
This is for the Senior Club of the Award, which basically takes A, B, C, and D grade, and it wasn't decided until today based on you get 4 points for a grand final win, 2 for finishing second, 1 in kind of breaks down from there. And Walkerville win the Senior Club of the Year with their 4 points, and I believe by looking at the map that was going on beside me, they needed to win this grand final to win the Senior Club of the Year. I think West Torrens just missed out on it because West Torrens had a team in the mix at every grade, it felt like.
Yeah, we had B, C, and D in the seniors. So,
yeah. So
just Pip there.
Yeah, Walkerville needed all 4 points to win it. So well-deserved from Walkerville. It was a tight competition, though. Seacombe were trying to win the double today, too, to show how close it was.
That's true, yeah.
This is for the player of the grand... Oh, no, this is for Coach of the Year. Yeah, Bindi Stanfield wins Coach of the Year, and that feels fitting considering they won the minor premiership for the best regular season, and then they win the grand final. I think that's a deserved Coach of the Year.
Absolutely, and I don't think...
Yeah, Bindi had this team firing this year.
Yeah.
She's the legend of the game here, Bindi Stansfield.
Been around a long time.
Award named in honour of Lindy herself. It's the Lindy Radigan Medal, which is the Grand Final MVP.
Grand Final MVP.
One guess?
I'm going to say Cottle. I don't know. I actually don't know.
Taylor. I go Taylor.
I have to, too. Shutout, complete game shutout in a grand final. You can't, yeah, there you go. There it is. It's Taylor Cottle. I was going to say, it was a team effort to put runs on the board. There was a lot of different players that stood out, but it is actually impossible to lose a grand final if you don't allow a run.
That's exactly right. Being a pitcher is tough,
And I think
win
something
this in the-
extraordinary would have had to happen. You think back to when Lana Kaesler had that great catch and then the home run. Like, that feels like a different scenario because Steph could have won that too. Like,
100%. Yeah. I think with the runs scored on errors, that sort of, not really hitting
one earned run
and stuff like that.
Sorry, what did I miss? Just doing
couple awards.
Just doing my last ever presidential duties.
How tight was that senior club of the year look? It looked.
Was Torrance close, mate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
B grade would have helped.
Just calling over
Bill Benedictson, for a couple words. We'll see if we can hear. We'll pump the mics.
Well, congratulations to Walkerville. Well-deserved championship. Although it's hard coming from my lips saying that, but congratulations. I just told the team that I was extremely proud of them. And they did have a fantastic season, played really well, played for each other, and it really was a team effort. Everybody contributed all year long. Thank you to everybody supporting us, the families, the friends that came out, and see you next year. Okay.
Well, Bill Benedictson helped get this Tigers team from out of the finals to in the finals for the first time that I've been around, and I've been here for almost a decade now, and they were so close to winning a grand final, and certainly takes the game on, Bill Benedictson, with his team, doesn't he? And the Seacombe Tigers made it very interesting this year.
And I think, these young players, Seacombe Tigers, will learn a lot from Regan.
So when you remember when I was talking about my last set of presidential duties, so we've gone with Walkerville legend Julie Dale as the presenter of the medals, as it seemed awkward with Linda. So
does Linda still present the shield?
Linda presents her own shield, yes.
Oh, great.
And you'll notice that Linda, being the consummate professional that she is, she's stepped away from the team and she's put a state SA jacket on.
Oh, my goodness. Well, there you saw Bailey Lux at first. That's Ellie Smith, a big game today as well. She had that RBI back in the first inning, which was a fantastic effort. Sophie Roberts, this is her third premiership with Walkerville. She is building up quite the resume with this Cats team. Haley Mayer, the athlete, great to see her with regular time this year as she makes the move down to this top competition.
Big cheer, Georgia Mason.
Yeah.
Fans in the stand.
Had the catch of the year, arguably.
I'm glad she leant down for Julie. Julie wasn't getting up there, so... Steph Gold, that's definitely been a contributor for the Cats throughout the year.
Well, second on the team in runs scored, Steph Gall. She just gets on base and gets around. A very heady player is Aaron Stone, the breakout player, you could probably say, this year. Real tough number 9 hitter. And there's just the best player of the grand final, best player of the regular season, best pitcher, Taylor Cottle. Winning every award you can possibly win.
She's going to need some sort of, the room in Italy, has she got a space for it? Like
extra baggage luggage, bit weight excess there.
I feel like she should give the accommodation a heads up, saying she's going to need a wall.
Yeah, some extra luggage may be required. And you can't win a premiership without all of your bench players as well. So they may not have started in the 9 today, but players like Kelly Bested, you saw Erin Reed before, you saw Anna Sainsbury-Daw and Casey Taylor get their chocolates, and now the coaching staff, what a difference she made. Her daughters leave cert, and she gets to go coach Walkerville to a premiership.
Yeah, and it can't be underestimated the change that she's made. Obviously, did a lot of the...
this will mean a lot to that guy, too, Derek, yeah.
And old Tiger? He was an old Tiger?
Yeah, I think
I'm pretty sure he was an old Tiger.
Yeah.
And Linda Martin, who has won the Linda Martin Shield. I'm sure even, coaches like Bindi would have benefited greatly from having Linda Martin in the room with her.
Yeah, yeah. Like,
100%,
yeah.
Big smile on Linda's face.
The 2 years I had with Linda is what made me what I am today. I've always held her in the highest regard, and without those 2 years of learning from her.
And another great softball person in Bindi Stansfield you saw there, and Sophie King.
No Fuss King.
Yeah, no Fuss King, yeah. And you heard how much it meant to her after the game, and Chelsea Robinson, she is just A professional in every respect of the word, Chelsea Robinson.
You could have one of those two, or both of those two captains come forward just to say.
The co-captains, Sophie King and Chelsea Robinson. You'll hear him speak again.
Firstly, thanks to Seacombe for an awesome battle. It wasn't just tonight, it was throughout the whole season for you guys. We knew one run just was going to put us so much pressure, and we knew you guys were coming out to fight. So thanks for a great final and a great season. Thanks to everyone for coming out. I know Spacequake is amazing, but it's great to see such a big crowd. So thanks for all our Walkerville supporters over there, nice and loud. Big thanks to everyone that does the grounds and all the volunteers, and I know that we've even got some sponsors through as well, which is awesome for this comp and great for the league and the development of softball. A bit more behind the scenes, just thanks to our committee. Like, I know it was a very tough season. We almost didn't have this A-grade team, so to go out of your way and find some pretty cool Americans that really helped us this season, and everything that you guys have done for us as an A-grade. I'm very glad that we could bring the shield back to you guys. And lastly, thanks to the Walkerville Softball Club and this beautiful team. Played an awesome season this year and everyone contributed. So yeah, let's go.
That's why she's one of the most respected players in this competition. That was great from Chelsea Robinson.
It's hard to win them, and I think the Cats are going to enjoy tonight.
Yeah, I hope they have a great time tonight. But Linda Martin, who is, like you said, put on the state jacket to pick up her shield that's named after herself to present to the team that she helped coach win. But
that's pretty honourable right there. That's
what a moment. Walkerville are winners. Time to hoist it proud.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your support throughout all of this season.
Well, some great pictures that will wrap up a great season.
As I say, it's hard to believe that the 2024-25 season's ended. Just about, right? It's, in a blink of an eye, it's another season over.
No.
Oh, not in a blink of an eye.
No, it has not been a blink of an eye.
For you, mate, it's been...
No, I understand what you're saying, though, and you're spot on. It's look, it's been an amazing season, like competitiveness, like the changing of, 5 and 6 have just played off in 1v2. So, new club of the year and some great awards and some new players, national championship for the Stars. I mean, yeah, look, there's lots. It's been a really big year, and it's a really good year, and it's a great time for transition too. And that's, obviously with the ASA stepping, like the committee stepping away, and obviously a new executive being formed with new people moving forward, it's really exciting because the opportunity to help shape the direction of where we're going, and I look forward to sitting back and watching that to grow, and it's been a privilege to serve, and thank you to Eric for everything that you've done for me, especially around all this stuff, because I wouldn't have been doing this years ago, and I still don't think I believe that I'm doing it now. So I'm just really excited. I'm so happy that you've been here to just elevate our competition to the level that it is, where it's the best in the country. And look, thank you, Danny, to coming along. Thank you, Brandon. And look, well done to Walkerville. Well done to Seacombe. It's been a great final series, and couldn't be happier to finish it up.
Yeah, kudos, mate. That's
big thank you to you, Danny Moffat, for stepping in for the grand final. Hope to see you back on the ground coaching one next year, perhaps.
Oh, don't start that rumor there, Eric.
Get it going.
There's a vote over in the clubhouse who West Torres players want to coach. We'll see. The rumors already starting to spread, so we'll see what happens.
Well, it'll be a great year next year in the Premier League regardless. The competition looking like it's going to be even tighter next year, just the way everyone is progressing. It's been a great season, and thank you very much for letting me be a very, very small part of it. We'll leave you with images of the selfie of Walkerville, who are your premiers, minor premiers, champions, and everything in between. So Before we go to a video of all the awards winners from Sunday night, big thank you to Spacequake Sports and everybody and their crew. Congratulations to Walkerville, your 2024-25 champions, and we hope to see you next year.
It's amazing to see 170 people from the Adelaide competition here tonight, so congratulations for that. Thank you. The Umpire-in-Chief, for the last time, Steve Wallace-Yarrow, present the Softball Umpire Awards.
So starting off with the Rookie of the Year, Kiara Bickley to the stage, please. The Lyle Tyler Award, once again would like to call out Kevin Tannebring. And finally, Umpire of the Year Award, it goes to Damien McCauley.
Runner-up, under 12s, most valuable player, Bodie Ansell, Aria Beasley, Dylan Carter, Isabel Williams. And finally, the most valuable player for under 12s, Miller Hull. Under 12 MVPs and MVP runners-up. Under 14, runner-up, most valuable player, Aria Beasley, Charlotte Winnett. And the under 14, most valuable player, Ben Williams. Your under 14, most valuable players. Under 16s, runner-up, most valuable player, Isabel Jackson, Amelia Domin. The under 16 most valuable player, Evelyn Hume. And joint winner is Kian Beasley. Your under 16 most valuable players. Under 18 MVP, runner-up, Kian Beasley, Lucy Weatherstone. The Margaret Lang Medal, Abby Bastian. The D grade Best and Fairest, it's the Mary Parslow Medal, and the winner, Angela Stevens, West Tyrone. The Julie Dale Trophy winner for Outstanding Achievement, Lynette Callahan, Port Adelaide Softball Club. Sims Medal, C grade Best and Fairest, Kathy Pash, Kylie Weatherstone on 15 votes. And the winner of the Lorraine Meldron Medal for B grade Best and Fairest, Ellie Smith. The winner of the Best Defensive Player is Jess Maslin from Port Adelaide. The winner of the Lorraine Brown OEM medal for the best pitcher in the ASA is Taylor Caudle of Walkerville. The winner of the Mel McGee best batter is Brianna Marcelino from Port Adelaide. The winner of the Belinda White Rookie of the Year 2025 is Talia Sutton. 2025 Kath Corral Player of the Year is Taylor Caudle. Team of the Year for A grade, the Pitcher of the Year, Taylor Caudle. The reserve pitcher, Emily Price. Catcher, Jessica Golden. First base, Becky Havas. Second base, Sophie King. Shortstop, Brianna Marcelino. Third base, Lana Kaisler. Outfield, Maddie Cameron. Outfield, Reagan Diaz. The last of the outfield positions, Jessica Maslin. Utility player, Georgia King. Utility, Chelsea Robinson. The 2025 ASA Team of the Year.